This episode of the One Piece podcast is brought to you by Shonen Jump. Sign up today to be a Shonen Jump member and follow along with us. For less than $2 a month, you could read every chapter of One Piece, plus you get access to the Shonen Jump Digital Vault. So that includes nearly every Shonen Jump series published in English. Series like My Hero Academia, One Punch Man, Dr. Stone, Dragon Ball Super, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Death Note, and much more. Start your free trial today by going to a special page just for One Piece podcast listeners, and that's at viz.com/One Piece podcast. Again, viz.com/One Piece podcast. Enjoy the show.
This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 608 for the week of Sunday, February 16th, 2020. My name is Jill.
And my name's Kelly.
It is Valentine's week, so we are having our Galentine's episode here with the Kuja cast, our very special female-only episode, mostly. So joining us this week, Kelly, do you want to introduce them?
Sure. So let's start out with Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm one of the moderators on the Discord.
And Kendra.
Hi, I'm Kendra. I'm on the My Hero podcast and the View from the Top, a Haikyuu podcast.
And Maddie?
Hey, I'm usually the artist, and I'm usually in the background, but I'll be slightly less in the background this time.
And my fellow Sanji lover. So Team Sanji up in here.
Yes.
And we have Stephanie, who I forgot about because Kuja cast.
Yeah, I'm the chaperone, I guess. I don't know. I am the translator for the manga, so we'll be reading my work.
It's lovely. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
And thank you for chaperoning us, ladies. I feel like we're in Victorian times now.
Sure.
Can't show those ankles.
That's right.
All right, so this week we have a manga recap of manga chapter 971, which is titled Sentence to Boil, in our Piece Together segment. We also have an anime recap of episode 922, A Tale of Chivalry, Zoro and Tonoyasu's Little Trip. And at the end of the episode, we might have a special Kuja cast trivia, and we might also have some girl talk, so
That's
stick around
right.
for that. Mm-hmm. You have any news, Kelly?
I do. So a few small things, nothing really major, but a couple things that are happening right now. We've got 2 new pop-up shops that are happening in Japan. Matsuyama is going to get a One Piece Mugiwara store pop-up shop at their Tokyo Hands location, and that's going to be from actually today through March 8th. And if you probably have seen on the site, there's also a pop-up in Narita Airport right now that's running through March 31st. And the Narita Airport one is actually really neat because they have travel-centric goods there. Surprise, surprise, it's an airport. But there's a whole line of like luggage, and it's like this vintage travel stuff, and it's all these little stamps that you would get on a passport, but they're all the different islands in the One Piece world. So it's like really, really cool merch in that particular one. And I'm hoping I can get over there before they're gone. Another thing that's going on that's actually kind of neat, and this is a very rare event because it only happens once every 4 years, and that is the birthday of the elusive Panda Man. So Panda Man's birthday is Leap Day. And they are doing a special event in the Tokyo One Piece Tower where they're going to have little Panda Man hidden all over the Tongari Island area. And you actually have to find them in order to even get the special beverage. So you can't even order this special Panda Man like green drink without proving to the person at the counter that you have found a Panda Man. And if you can find all of them or guess the total, you get entered into all these lotteries for all these different figures as well. So it's kind of cute. You know, the hidden character has the hidden and rare birthday. And the drink is green because Panda Man apparently really likes bamboo.
Oh,
That makes sense.
So I thought that was super cute. And it's got little candy ears and a little face on top. So it's actually really adorable. And you can get a little Panda Man birthday card on it as well. But I'm trying to remember if they did one the first year that they opened, because 2016 would have been a leap year, but I can't remember if they did it that first year or not. In other news, we also just had the Wonder Festival happen. And if you're not familiar with that, that's the toy fair, the biannual toy fair that happens right outside of Tokyo. And it's absolutely massive. And this is the one where you always get a really good idea on new figures that are coming out. So just a couple things that came out of that that were really cool. You've got the first look at the color version of Zorojiro from Warriors Alliance. So, you know, full Wano garb, looks absolutely amazing. And we also got our first look at an unpainted version of that series for Trafalgar Law. So they're slowly but surely calling that Wano series, the Portrait of Pirates series, the Warriors Alliance. And we also got a color version of Playback Memories, which is their sort of new flashback series. And that's where the Miss All Sunday and one of the Marco figures came from. But this one is of Belmere. And if you missed a chance to get the original Belmere Pop, they're a fortune to get secondhand. I mean, $300 to $500 minimum to buy these things. So this is a good chance to get a really high quality Belmere figure. And that's actually going to be released in October of this year. So those pre-orders will probably come up pretty soon. So it was nice to see some new figures of characters that you don't see a lot. And yeah, if you definitely like Belmere, jump on this because it will get expensive. They don't usually make a lot of figures for her. So that was pretty darn cool to see.
This is why I have no money.
This is why none of us have any money. They just keep dropping figures. And then, of course, they introduced the Ichiban Kuji, which is the lottery. And you've got a Stampede series and a Battle Memories series coming out. And that's April and May of this year. So once again, a gazillion figures and no room to put any of them. But I know I'll still probably buy them.
Yes, I do wonder for the Warrior line if they have they done Usopp with his frog friend as a figure yet?
They did a Grand Line Men version, like the smaller one that you would get in the arcade. But they have not done a Portrait of Pirates that I know of yet. It's not on the list. So not really sure if they're going to do it. I did find that there's a new Carrot figure coming though, and that's going to be the little sweets one that they're doing where they kind of dress up like their animal companions. So, you know, that's the where Nami's dress up like Chopper and Boa Hancock's dress up like Salome. So they're doing a version of that for Carrot. So I don't know if she'll dress like a human or not.
Oh.
But we do have another Carrot figure coming that is going to be a much more affordable version. That's that sweet style series.
Well, now I'm interested in what she's going to be dressed as, honestly. That's
Human flesh. Human flesh.
Or she'll dress as like Wanda or something. I'm trying to think of or as Pedro. That would be sad though.
It's like, oh yes, I got what I had from the remains of Pedro. Tiny outfit. All right. Well, I'm very excited for more figures as always. Anyone else have anything they want to mention before we head on to the manga recap?
How about Patreon?
Oh, that's true. Thank you, Stephanie. We have a Patreon, onepiecepodcast.com. Oh God, is it /Patreon? Or is it the other way around? Well, I'm sure you can find it by literally going on Patreon and typing the One Piece Podcast. We have exclusives up there. It's pretty affordable. Definitely take a look at it. You can also get access to the Discord channel with specific questions that we are for sure will answer. So definitely take a look.
Cool.
This is the manga recap for chapter 971, Sentenced to Boil. And here on the cover page, we have Gangbage's Oh My Family, Volume 20. Keep going, Gotti. It's all up to you. And he's running because he knows that the mother of the family, Chiffon, is screaming help, and he has to go save her because she has been taken. And we see him running through the streets of Dressrosa. Some people in the background that are interesting. There's definitely an Okama on the left.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Looks
And
like Gats on the right.
yeah, is that Gat's just like everyday clothes, but just still wearing the helmet? Is that his normal outfit, like his Sunday best?
He's trying to keep out of the sun.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're right.
And Marilyn Monroe is also there.
That's right. Now we know where she went.
And just some old man.
I thought his hat was like an arrow for a second. I was like, oh, what's important about him? But it's just his hat.
I was like, look at this dude. Just this one guy in particular.
Look at that stoop.
And I guess it confirms it's chiffon because Lola would have the longer braids unless Lola like cut her hair.
I thought this was him like being like, oh, gotta go save her. That's what she's needs right now. And that's what he's thinking.
I wasn't sure if it was a speech bubble or not. Like for
It's hard
Could
to
be,
tell.
but if you can't see her and someone's yelling help, it could be either one, I suppose. But
I just like that Gotti has like a lifesaver on his arm or something. That's so
yes,
silly.
the peppermint swirl candy.
Yes.
All right. Anyone else have anything to say about this cover page?
Oh, he's definitely wearing Crocs.
Oh,
I
God,
thought they
he
were just like
is.
really gaudy, like Jaguar print shoes.
Oh, maybe.
Yes, gaudy.
That's where Pedro went.
We figured it out.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next page.
Sorry.
Weird, like mink fur outfits at this point. All right, so we are still in Wano, back in our flashback here. We get into the Kozuki family here without Odin because he is currently indisposed. Momonosuke is asking, why is his life in danger? Because he has to have someone eat his food before he eats it. Because his father is a great man and he is meant to one day carry the nation on your shoulders. So they're being more careful, even because they know that people are coming out for Momo, just like they came out for Odin. And they are going through basically the stages of grief here. Is it true that today father will be, and then he cries into his rice, as Hiyori is probably a little too young to realize exactly what's happening here, as she's just looking worriedly as her brother. And Toki is keeping it together as best as she can, as stoic as possible, even though, she's probably not doing great on the inside. Mm-hmm. And on the next page, we get into this. I love this shot. It's such a good, I love seeing the steam wrap around it. It is the public execution of Kozuki Odin and his 9 vassals. And they are going to be boiled alive. It's such a cool panel with it brings me back into Impel Down when there was that big cauldron of the bubbling blood. And there was that, I love the kind of the callback to that. And people are running to say, hurry, it's not every day you get to see a boiling. Ooh, yeah, let's go see that. Everyone's really excited for the boiling show. It only takes a second because they use oil. You don't want to miss this. Once again, showing the people of Wano are super classy, and everything is great in this country.
Yes, this is when I first started going, maybe I don't have that much sympathy for the citizens of Wano. And now we're looking at a crowd shot here, and they're all talking about Odin. Oh, so he couldn't be Kaido in the end, even for a fool of a lord. I thought his strength was the real deal. So what was he good for anyway? And you see Kaido here and Orochi sitting down, and with their giant sake cups, getting ready to watch the action while the crowd is gathering. And we have Odin say, I request that you give me a chance. It is imperative that I survive. And he's basically like, get into the pot already. No more jokes. Don't beg for your life now. and the gentleman falls into the oil, and we see how fast this actually takes a person out. And this is actually pretty gruesome. He's boiling in oil and screaming, "Help me!" And then he leaps out and starts running toward the crowd on fire before he finally collapses in a burned up skeleton on the ground.
He's like Denethor from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
just like running away.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I wonder how the anime is going to do this one.
Oof, that's true.
And also just cool to see like how big Odin is compared to the guy beside him. It's just like all the royalty is really big, basically. Or I guess
Yeah, I still don't
Kinemon's big.
understand Wano heights exactly. There's a lot of really tall people in Wano,
There
but
are.
why they're tall, we'll never know. They just are.
Yeah.
All right, so then Odin starts kind of giving this explanation of how they're going to do it. All 10 of us will enter the pot together. If any of us withstand the boiling for the amount of time you agree upon, please let them go free. And Kawamatsu and all his vassals are kind of like, "Lord Odin, what is this?" And Orochi's laughing. The idea of him withstanding the boiling oil. He says this is an instantaneous death sentence. But Kaido is interested in it, so he tells a servant to go get a clock to count the time and announces that he has 1 hour. And he laughs. "Let's see you last that long. It's enough time to get lightheaded in the bath." And Odin confirms that with Kaido that he has his word for it if he lasts an hour. And then we just kind of have the crowd watching Odin. He still won't give up. And just kind of not great people of Wano, who one of them is thinking, "Can you make it quick? I've got errands to run." So,
To be fair, I don't know how many like great citizens are like, "Yeah, let's go watch our shogun go get boiled to
Well,
death."
I mean-
Maybe this is just the worst of the worst for the show.
Yeah, it's like they're there watching the public execution, but then it's like, well, don't make it last too long. And then Odin enters the oil and immediately basically bursts into flame and is screaming in pain. And then all his followers are saying, "Don't let our Lord go alone, after him, and we'll meet again in the afterlife." And then we see Odin instruct them to get on top of the plank.
It makes me think of Titanic.
Where did this plank come from? Is this the
Thank you.
That's
It's the lid.
It's the thing that they're standing on to walk into. If you go back to
Oh.
That makes sense, because I was like, wow, he just pulled that out of nowhere.
That's what was in
It's in his pocket.
It was in his hair the whole time.
Also, notice he breaks the chains when in that big reaction shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Are they broken or are they just hidden by
Hidden.
like the steam?
No, they're broken because
Yeah, they are.
in the feature
yeah.
panel they're broken in half.
Okay, yeah.
Also,
Why
it's some
even bother
Wait,
with
where was
chains?
he? Wait, was he? Oh, he's just chained to each other. Well, I assume, I don't know. I guess the boiling
Yeah.
oil might not be great for chains either.
Also, it's kind of stupid, but I was rereading it, and the goon who goes to get the clock, I was looking at his jacket, and I guess it says Animal Kingdom, but it looks like it says something else.
Oh, yeah, I see it. But also, it looks like those jackets you see in Japan where it has like the cool stuff on the back, like
The
biker
souvenir
jackets.
jackets.
Souvenir jackets.
Yeah. All right. So leading into the main, most epic panel of, I think, this chapter, we have the dawn, and we have Odin standing there like Atlas, holding all of his vassals on his shoulders while he continues to be boiled alive in the oil. And we have this just amazing panel of everyone just looking absolutely shocked and also incredibly upset, while Odin keeps them aloft, and they're basically trying to stop him. Lord Odin, stop this. It ought to be the other way around. Lord Odin, we should be the ones to hold you up. And he's like, shut up and stay there. This is an order. And basically they're not going to defy that. So they're just like, Lord Odin,
At least his hair still looks good.
Yeah.
That's right. The oil cannot stop the hair.
If the hair was any less flat, it would ruin the hairstyle. But it's
right.
not.
The hair's doing all the work.
That's true. That's true.
And the next page is Orochi going, "Hey, what's going on? His vassals aren't even touching the oil." And Kaido laughs, "But all 10 of them are within the pot. It's true. Very entertaining. Well done, Odin." And people are shouting, "He's holding up all 9 great big men on his own. That would take incredible physical strength already. But to do all standing in boiling oil?" And I don't remember her name.
Shinobu.
Yeah, Shinobu is just in the crowd crying for Lord Odin. And the clock's ticking, and the vassals are shouting, "Lord Odin, put us down." And Kaido's taunting, "What's the matter? It hasn't even been 1 minute yet." And the clock keeps ticking, and we see a shot of the boiling pot, and the citizens are looking on, and the Oniwabashu are like, "How strong can one man's skin be?"
I just love that clock because I'm learning to tell time on Duolingo, so I'm looking okay, what do I recognize? But I thought it was a giant clock, but it's tiny.
It's a little clock.
Yeah.
I like that there's all these panels of time passing, and then it's really only 2 or 3 minutes. It's a really, really short period of time. So it really kind of sells how long each second must feel for this torture.
Yeah, I love that we have so many panels of just people staring or pictures of the flames. It really makes it more drawn out.
And what I realized, I was looking back at past chapters, when they say the hour of greatness, is probably this.
Oh.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And on the next page, we get the vassals who are, I mean, my God, imagine this scenario where it is the man that you would die for is literally holding you on his shoulders to save you from certain death while he is dying. So they don't really know what to do here, but they know they can't move because it'll shift and it'll make it harder on him, but they don't really know what else to do. And even the heat is going to bake them alive just being on the plank, let alone being inside it like Odin is. And Odin is doing his best. You can tell that it's not easy, not just holding them up, but just being in the pain of the boiling oil. And yet only 4 minutes have passed. And then, of course, we get our lovely Wano citizens. I heard it was only supposed to take a second. This is surprisingly boring. I thought he'd be screaming and dying in agony and such. So, these guys are model citizens. Shinobu, not happy much about these comments. One of them is like, "I'm going to get going now. Can't waste any more time with this fool of a lord." Yeah, I'd be like, you know what? I've got things to do. I left my stove on. I'm going to go check on my kid. And Shinobu, reacting just as the stealthy ninja that she is, bursts into action and pins a man down, saying, "How dare you call him that? Say it one more time and I'll end your life." And everyone's so worried about this random woman. She's got a sword, a kunoichi. And then she shouts, you are the fools. And calling attention to herself, the others realize that is Shinobu. She is still around. And the vassals are saying, "Why is she making a scene? She's a ninja. They're supposed to be stealthy."
And Shinobu calls out, "Who do you think has been ensuring that you all live in peace? If you lose Lord Odin now, you'll all come to understand. You'll know just how much misery he kept at bay. Orochi is no shogun or even a dictator. Orochi doesn't want to rule over a populace." And then we get finally the reveal of what was said to him there. "If you ask me, every single person..." Oh, wait, no, I need to do a good voice. Whatever. "Every single person in this land is guilty of persecuting the Kurozumi clan. I don't even know what this voice is. I don't care if I don't care if every last one of them dies. I took the Shogun throne to drive this country to ruin, to complete my vengeance." This could be deeper, but I can't do that. But he's just basically monologuing here. Sorry, take a breath. "Years ago, my grandpa committed a crime and was forced to commit seppuku. Our clan fell into ruin, and that was one thing. But then the rest of the family left behind was chased and terrorized by strangers who claim they're performing justice." And we see, the women and children getting hunted down. It looks like somebody getting pushed into the water.
Yep.
Or so that then they say, they beat us, threw us into the river, killed us. I was so terrified of the mob of fools that I couldn't sleep. And I guess it's interesting because he didn't really seem to know about the stuff when the old lady was talking to him. So it's interesting that I guess maybe he forgot it or something.
Also that the citizens of Wano were crappy back in the day, too, apparently.
They've always been crappy.
You know? And he continues, the man who committed the crime was long dead at this point. And we get the scary shot of, I'm guessing, people who terrorized him, the bloodline of the daimyo killer. And then we get a very interesting line kind of calling back to Ace. Apparently, even a child can be a criminal if he happens to have the name Kurozumi. And he's getting Doflamingo's veins. And Odin is horrified. And so everyone in Wano is target for my vengeance. You will reap what you've sown. I just want to say, like, Orochi is definitely, like, the most interesting person in this flashback for me, at least. So it's cool to see, like, another layer of him.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting that it's not really clear, like you said, it's not really clear what the timing of like Orochi's knowledge of this stuff is. Like I know he like kind of had a crappy childhood because that's, you know, when we saw him with the old hag and the old man learning like these sort of secrets. I don't know, maybe he had already lived through this stuff, or maybe this was kind of happening at the same time, but yeah, it's kind of hard to tell too, like how much of this is definitely true and how much of it is him like sort of feeding off of his own perceived like persecution that he's using as justification for, you know, his reign of terror. But yeah, it's clearly like a really bad cycle of, you know, cruelty that's been going on.
Mm-hmm. And it's also interesting that apparently he didn't have the buck teeth when he was a kid. So, like, he had normal teeth, and then once his kid teeth fell out, he just got the buck teeth. Or not even buck teeth. I don't even know how to describe those teeth.
They're like hippo teeth, hippo tusks. So on the last page, Shinobu's story continues that from a room in the back, he produced a tribute for Kaido, a great stock of weapons and many hundreds of kidnapped people. And so we see a bunch of people that are trussed up and blindfolded, and lots of boxes of weapons and stuff. And Orochi says, well, they'll either be sold or tortured or killed. And so the point is that once he made that, final decision there, that would be it. There, no matter what, it's not going to be a happy ending for those people. And Lord Odin was furious, and it shows him, clashing again with Kaido in human form here, this club. And but then Orochi made a suggestion. You want us to stop the kidnapping? But if you go to war against us, you're going to lose a lot more than you bargained for. And so she's kind of summing it up here that, the enemy of Odin is a man who, he's not really rational. He's not interested in doing anything that's good for Wano. It's just he'll do whatever he wants, and he doesn't care if the damage is great. So it's more that it's about more than just winning or losing. It's about, protecting the people. So he chose to accept Orochi's offer, and it's basically the humiliation that we saw earlier. He has to dance in the nude or in the loincloth, I guess, in public every week as an apology to the Kurozumi clan. And it's going to be humiliating, but he could save 100 lives with each dance. And they made a promise that 5 years later, they were going to sail away from the country when they were done building their ships. And I'm kind of wondering if that was, when we did I think it was the chapter that Sophie and Kendra were first on the podcast, where we saw them sailing away, and Orochi had his like giant ship, and there were a bunch of other small ones, if maybe that's what this is referring to. That appears to be the deal when he mentioned ships in the earlier chapter. So he was hoping that they would sail off when that was done and stop, tormenting the people of Wano. So he does this humiliating stuff, and he travels around just to make sure that everything is okay, that they're not, breaking their promise. And Shinobu is, full on tears now. She says, "For all of these years, Lord Odin has been protecting this land. So tell me again, who are you calling a fool of a lord?" As we get, just this epic drawing of Odin, where he's just every bit of his life is dedicated to holding up this plank, and like his eyes are all shaded, and there's blood coming out of his nose and his mouth, and looks pretty bad. But then the next chapter hits February 21st.
That's right.
Early release.
I almost wish that Odin's hair hadn't been flat for the entire flashback, and then it just got flattened in this just for the next couple of pages.
What would it have been? Just like a giant spire?
Like a spike or something. Pulling a ref.
Oh, jeez.
All right. So, Kelly, what are your thoughts on the chapter?
Well, definitely have a lower opinion on a lot of the citizens of Wano. But, I thought it was interesting to kind of show that attitude, and yet he's still demeaning himself and dancing in a loincloth all over for the past few years to save people who clearly, a lot of them are not on his side, and probably are some of the people that have spoken disparagingly about him. So, the fact that he's willing to do that for people that don't necessarily care about him, I think once again, it's just that strengthening of him as a character. I also liked the juxtaposition of the two very strong females in this chapter, which is perfect for Kuja cast. I thought, Toki being stoic and staying calm as a mother to protect her kids and trying to keep it together, but also Shinobu, the only person who spoke out in this whole crowd of people. And there were probably some allies to Odin in this crowd, and I think we see a couple of them if I remember correctly. But she's the only one who had the courage to speak out, and it's not like Kaido and Orochi aren't there and could do something to her. So I thought her standing up and giving that speech was really moving and everything like that. And then, of course, obviously Odin's sacrifice, we know this is going to get drawn out probably at least until the next chapter. Hopefully not too many, because I don't know how long I can stand to see this man in this oil, especially that panel with his foot in the water and the oil when they show his foot burning. Oof. I felt that drawing. I was just like, oh my God, that looks so painful. But, just to see what he's doing for people that don't appreciate him for the most part, I think is sad, especially considering now that what the state of Wano is now and, how much worse it got.
I guess I would feel the Toki thing more if she doesn't even have a sweat drop or anything. She just doesn't really react. Her husband's in danger and she's like, this is fine.
She's got the kids there, she's got to put on a.
But she always puts up that front. I guess I'm annoyed that it seems like she always does. I guess she yelled at Odin once when he was like, oh, I'm you actually need to go on an adventure. But since then, she's just doesn't react to anything.
I'll agree with that. I wish we had more Toki in this flashback that wasn't just having her used as a literal plot device to move time.
Yeah, because I was thinking she's kind of those wife guys. She's a husband gal or something, because she's just whatever Odin does is right. Even when she's oh, he's dancing away, and she's oh, don't make me mad, but it's not fitting with what she thought of him before. She just can magically read his mind. Sorry, we're I'll save it for more of my talking, but I don't know. I hope for more from Toki.
Yeah, definitely. Joe, what do you think of the chapter?
I thought it was pretty cool. I liked all the big shots of him holding them up over the oil and stuff. To kind of piggyback off what you were saying, it just made me think, I wonder if next chapter they're going to go down and see it for themselves, because on Zoe, it's implied that Momo saw what happened to Odin, and we still haven't heard him say, I'm Odin, I'm born to boil, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see Momo running off to go see the execution, maybe in a way, sneak, trying to sneak away from the rest of his family.
Maybe try to save him or something.
Yeah.
But I guess that gets confusing because then he needs to be back near his mom in the castle to get teleported. But I do like the idea of him going to see it.
Well, yeah, well, like something's gonna happen because like they go to attack the castle after this, which is when Toki does her thing. So
that's what
and you know that some of the Akazaya do get teleported.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And I guess maybe that's why I'm slightly okay with Toki being a little kind of non-reactive, for want of a better term, in this, because you know she's got her moment coming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Stephanie, how about you? What do you think of this chapter?
It's an interesting one. I feel like it does a really good job of kind of overlapping and reinforcing some of the like the story and the character traits that have been built up, like especially of Odin being this figure of great like perseverance and sort of stoicness that like not only is he basically allowing his reputation to be completely shattered for the sake of the people, but like he's literally, as they're killing him, he's literally like putting his people on his shoulders and keeping them out of harm's way, which is pretty poetic the way that works out, which is kind of fascinating. I did think that the like when Shinobu does her reveal, which does, I think it really does make it really improves Shinobu's character a lot, especially knowing like kind of what she's the way that we were introduced to her in the present day, where she's a lot older and she's kind of kooky, but now you can kind of see that a lot of it is probably just sort of like the trauma of having been through this horrible experience and seen the injustice that happened and having been unable to help stop it. And that's why, she's like so desperate about the plan in the present day about, when she's, suspicious of law, for example, and the Heart Pirates, that it's because she's like so personally like wrapped up in what happened, that she was so close to these events. I think is really makes her much more interesting than she was before. And I think the actual deal about the don't do this thing or I'll kill 100 people per day or whatever whatever the terms were, are maybe, I don't know if they're necessarily like interesting enough to have been like the surprise reveal of like, oh, why was he dancing? Like, this is a weird mystery thing. Well, wait till you see the sleight of hand that Oda is doing. Well, it turns out it's actually pretty simple. It's kind of like what you might expect. But I feel like, in retrospect, that just means like the really important thing about that was kind of trying to put the reader into the perspective of the people of Wano, of like, what is this guy's problem? Like, why is he such an idiot? Why is he such a fool that he's doing this? And so even if like it wasn't really like a surprising, like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that type of reveal, it does kind of serve the perspective, the manipulation of the perspective that Oda was kind of doing to us. So I don't know. I don't know how much longer he can go here, but the flashback continues.
Was there anyone else who hasn't given their reaction yet?
I guess me. I guess like I did like it overall that Odin got to be really cool. I guess like part of me is just annoyed that like, oh, they're like, oh, like fighting back would be worse because more people will get hurt. But like at the same time, I was just thinking back to like he was part of Whitebeard's crew and he was supposed to only be with Roger for a year. And it's kind of like Roger like, oh, can I borrow this DVD from you, Whitebeard? Actually, the DVD wants to be free, and just like throws it away once he finishes it. Because like I get Odin didn't want to be a pirate anymore, but like I had the kind of stupid theory where it's like, oh, maybe Whitebeard will come and help because he actually cares about his family. But it's just, I think it's cool, but I think that I'm not, like Steven was saying, I don't think he was doing it to protect people is like that interesting of a reveal for me. So I'm just still like, for Odin. I just don't really like him. Because I don't know. I've talked about it enough on Twitter, but I'm definitely more interested in Orochi than I am anyone else. And I still want to know, like, I guess I'm more interested in Orochi Kaido dynamic than I am with Odin right now.
Yeah, I thought some of these specific. So Odin's basically a mythical character at this point. We've been talking about how he's like a folklore character. Everything he does is got that tint over it. Especially with this chapter where it's like an Orochi and Kaido thing. They're like, we got to make everything just a little bit extra, and they like taking bets. The whole like, sure, we don't know what you're gonna do, but sure, we'll make you all go in at the same time and make this weird bet with you. Nothing can go wrong here, or like the unnecessarily like, oh, dancing for every day that you dance, 100 people will go free. Like they don't really have to do that. They could have just threatened people. It would have been the same thing. So I don't know if I like that as much, just because I guess it's part of the dramatics, but it feels a little too convoluted, like an emperor's plan. But who knows? Maybe Kaido's just a weirdo.
And like speaking of convoluted, sorry, it just reminded me that like Odin's whole character of never explaining things, like it almost would like it doesn't even make sense for Kaido to say, "Oh, you can't tell anyone," because it would have helped prevent people from wanting to fight back. It would have been like people hopeful, be like, "Okay, it'll only take 5 years, and he's gone." So like he didn't tell the Akazai 9, he didn't tell his wife. He just sat on that information for no reason. And I went back and seeing like the guy who's like, oh, he never explains things. We never see that guy again. He's just an Oda like explainer dude. Because just like, is Odin too proud to explain things? Like it's just rubs me the wrong way about him. Because like
Yeah, I think that's kind of part of his tragic flaw is that he's so stoic that he's probably not helping himself in some regards. I do think that with Orochi, like the reveal of his, like, you know, that his plan is basically just a one of sadism, like sadistic sort of cruelty, like that he's not really interested. He's not really ruled by like logic that much, or like what's the cleverest thing to do. And I feel like that helps. I mean, obviously, you know, the whole like game, like let's last an hour, like, sure, let's go along with that. That's obviously a plot device, but I think it works a little better when you know that he's like, sure, like, I think it would be really fun to watch you boil slowly over an hour instead of dying in an instant, because it kind of suits his character. But yeah, I mean, it is very Bond villain, that's for sure.
And I do wonder, like, Orochi kind of gave up on destroying Wano, I guess, because 20 years, it's still there.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just because Kaido's probably like, oh, I want like all this material and stuff. But I guess like that kind of doesn't make sense to me.
This is, what's my name again? Zex Marquise. Xenon. I mean, I think like I know he took away all the swords and weapons from like all the people in Wano. I feel like he is a Bond villain. He's over the course of generations slowly withering down any hope of Wano coming up and rebelling, and then he'll crush them like the ants they are, is I'm assuming how he's thinking about it.
He's a very id focused character, like, right. You know, in the present day he's like having feasts and he has all the women and he just loves people fawning over himself, so he's probably just like, all right, I got what I'm happy. This is comfortable for me. Like I'm the shogun. I'm the king.
Yeah. Why leave?
Yeah.
You've got everything. Why leave?
Yeah.
And he has connections with the world government too. I know.
Yeah.
In the present day. Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, is Kaido honorable that, like, because we know the Akazai 9 get away. So does he hold out for an hour and then they decide, like, Kaido's like, I have to listen to you, and then somehow Barrier Guy and Old Lady die? Or I wonder if like Cat Viper and Dogstorm fight because one of them jumps off or something and like wastes Odin's sacrifice.
And Orochi at some point has to get really scared about the whole thing with Toki being true, because that's his whole shtick at the very beginning, is that he's like paranoid about a thing that makes no sense, but that is secretly true.
That's true. That should be a good scene.
And I wonder, maybe when Toki teleports them, she's already dying or something. Like, I don't know. I think when we see her talk in the flashback, is it just her head? Or do we see her whole body? Because I'm wondering, is like a sword sticking out of her?
She's sitting there. She's all there.
Yeah.
Oh. Because, like, she, like, I don't know, go there and like tap your husband and save him by putting him an hour, like a year in the future or something. There he lives. He disappeared.
It's like
But
the
maybe
sugar.
she knows she can't.
It's
you
like
know?
the sugar devil fruit. It's like too
Mhm.
convenient. It's like, oh, this could
Yeah.
solve all the problems if she really wanted it
But-
to. Yeah.
But it could be that the only way she can send people forwards is that she dies, like the law's fruit, the eternal youth
Oh, yeah,
thing. That if
yeah.
you use it on someone else, there's like a condition.
It's a good question.
I mean,
yeah.
the whole, like, the everything about this flashback or this part of the story is like against the backdrop of kind of fatalism, because it's like I think what Oda is trying to have us keep in mind is that, like, yeah, Odin, he could survive, or maybe there's some way they could have prevented this from happening, but that he's just one guy. He has his followers, but he's just one guy, and Kaido and Orochi together just have them completely outmanned, and ultimately they're doomed. No matter what happens, they're kind of doomed to fail. And obviously we know it sort of happens, because this is obviously the flashback. We know he's going to die, but whatever the hope that does get carried forward is for what's happening in the present day. So every moment where you're like, wow, why didn't they just do this? Why didn't they just do that?
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of supposed to be like, well, there's always some other reason why this wouldn't have worked, or ultimately it wouldn't have made a difference.
Right. And in the moment, it's also sometimes hard to think of those things. Hindsight, it's really easy to say, oh, I should have done that, but you don't have the emotions and everything. And I'm also kind of wondering, like, if there's more to Toki's time power, if she knows certain things, and maybe that's why she's not acting, and because she knows it has to go a certain way. I don't know if that means she has like any like precognition or anything that goes with that, or if it's just literally moving through time. But I'm wondering if maybe there's reasons that she's just like, all right, this is what has to happen.
And I guess she hasn't even explained like why she had to go to Wano. And then like maybe she does have precognition, because she says like, oh, like when the Akazai 9 like return, like be warned or something. But I don't know. I'm just so much of like, I guess it's because Odin's the focus, not her, but she's more interesting than he is, to me at least, just because I'm more interested in the Void Century than I am in the proud guy.
Have any of you gotten burnt by oil before?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it super hurts. So.
Yeah,
It
I
sucks.
know. Yeah, that's all I was thinking.
It makes me think of, have you guys seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yes.
So they celebrate the day that the Akazai 9 was not boiled in oil, so that everyone could eat like unfried dough. So it just made me think of that. And I kept thinking the clock was a spinner to decide what the punishment was, or like the length of time.
We already had that with Big Mom.
Yes.
I was not copying that.
And I guess, do you guys think Kaido, or I guess I already mentioned it, but like Kaido keeping his word or not? Like, I'm interested in more insight on Kaido and his like thought process.
Yeah, because he could just be like, no one's going to defeat me anyway. I don't care if you live.
His word here is, if any withstand the boiling for the amount of time you agree on, let them go free. Doesn't mean after they go free, he's just not going to hunt them down. There's no way.
You can get off that platform and get killed.
Yeah. I like to think of Kaido's probably like the word of the law, but probably not like the spirit of it.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to speak up for like the people of Wado, that they've had like 5 years under this guy, like 6, or is it 6 or 7, or probably maybe a year or two other for when Odin was pieced out, gone. So maybe, because I guess we don't really know when Orochi started. We know he was at least there when Odin came back. So like these people have already lost all hope, and like the people in the flower capital are probably like the few lucky ones who actually do get a bit of luxuries, and if they go out of line, they get kidnapped. So can't blame them too much for being assholes.
I would say that, but they're also like, hey, let's go look at the village boiling. Like,
yeah, but that happened in real life too.
And
like people went to executions in real life too.
Mm-hmm. This doesn't make it okay.
I know.
Yeah, and also I actually am way more interested in Orochi's flashback now because of this one little thing. Who knows how much of it is bias because of like what he's been taught and stuff. But I loved that he like talked about how his family had been persecuted, and then we get that one shot of Odin, who's maybe realizing that this could have been prevented if people had been better to each other. I really like that, just that one panel of Odin, even when he's going through all that, he's getting like an idea of the causes to this whole catastrophe.
That they created their own problem to a certain extent.
Kind of closed-minded, closed nation. Like it all loops around.
We haven't seen Odin yet. He's supposed to say like his big thing about open Wano's borders as like his dying message, or like his last thing that he wants people to do. And I think that does, even though it's not explicitly stated, I think that kind of ties into this story and kind of just the way that the people act, because it ties into like the whole theme of One Piece about sort of freedom. And one of the things of freedom is like the ability, if you have problems, or if if there are issues, like you have the freedom to not, to like ignore them, or like to go somewhere else and kind of do something else. And when you're locked in this closed state, there's nowhere else to go. It's like, an isolationist nation, or like a small town where there's no escape. And when you're stuck in that closed loop, like whenever you have a problem, you kind of have to, like you don't really have a choice but to deal with it. Like that's the way that people, like human nature works. So all these people who have their frustrations, they're going to take it out on whoever is like the safest to beat up. So if the Kurozumis are like the pariahs of the society after, their patriarch like tried to seize power and did this evil thing, well, okay, these guys are clearly the bad guys, so it's okay if we beat up on them. And that's this kind of mob justice mentality. And I feel like the themes of One Piece being like, freedom is the best, because you can go and you can decide what you want for yourself, and you can escape these the chains of all of the nonsense that goes on around you. That's the sort of thing that Wano being an open nation, they could have been different. And I think that's kind of, all of these experiences that Odin has had are what helps him solidify that idea in his mind.
Yeah, it's just interesting because I feel like this flashback hopefully is ending soon, but then I guess like apparently it's hype to want a Toki flashback, or for Toki to get more interactions. As I've heard from some people on Twitter, but I guess, or maybe like a Kaido flashback. Like I'm interested in how Oda's going to handle this, or if it just like won't really happen, that it won't be the focus at all.
I think we'll get a mini Toki flashback. I don't think we're going to get a full one, because this has been such a long flashback already. But like how we have the mini flashback to Orochi and Odin's deal, I think we're going to get a mini flashback to Toki. Hopefully before she meets Odin, because I would really like to see.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because also like
out there,
when we met Toki, she had like swords, and like also kind of like, oh, she's naive. So I would like, but then all that goes away when she meets Odin. And like, I don't know, let her have a bit of personality. Like, I don't know. I'm just bitter about Toki, but I wonder, I don't know. Have swords, save her husband, but that's like too out of character. But I can dream.
All right. Anything else they want to mention? All right, let's move on to the anime recap then.
This is the anime recap for episode 922, A Tale of Chivalry. My notes auto-corrected Zoro to 0. A Tale of Chivalry, Zoro and Tonoyasu's Little Trip. I'm your host, Samantha, once again, and today we have, as usual, we have Jill.
Hello, everyone.
And joining us once again for the second time, we have Kendra from the MHA podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me on.
Yes.
I have to say, I love the title of this episode. It just sounds really fun. They're like, yeah, we're going on a trip with these guys. Like,
it's mostly some gambling.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that sounds like a fun trip to me.
Yes.
Yes, so before we even get to the title card, we have a little shot of Zoro and Tonoyasu, the man we will know as Tonoyasu in a moment. they're just kind of standing out in the rain, trying not to get wet. They're kind of up against the building, and Tonoyasu is just the wrong height.
I thought he was small. I thought he was tiny. I was like, what is happening? I guess 'cause he's always like he's a sycophant, so he's always like praising Zoro, but like I thought he was tiny. He's too big. Like every time he talked, I was just like, he's gonna like bite someone's head off.
Yeah, he looks a little more. He looks a little more correct later in the episode, but he is also like bending his knees a lot to like shrink down. So it's like, is that really how he's supposed to look? Because I always thought he was just kind of a squat. Like I get that his head is big, but he's like he's like a normal sized man with like a giant head.
The proportions make it worse. It's just the giant head, really. Like you're right. It looks like he's gonna eat me. Like it's terrifying.
He's as tall as Zoro, and they're just standing straight up.
Yeah, like his head is like goes to Zoro's like below Zoro's shoulders. It's so scary. I just like kept taking pictures during the anime. I found my notes as well, but I kept laughing because I was just like, oh my god. Like there's one point when he's like really close to the camera, and I was like, oh my god, you need to go away.
He takes up a lot of screen real estate. So the title card, the title card officially begins at 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and it opens with Zoro. He's chilling out, he's drinking, and he's gambling. They're inside the building now, and Zoro's winning at this dice roll gambling, just calling evens or odds. And when Zoro wins, he gives Tonoyasu the winnings as like paying him back for the boat ride, and he's even giving Tonoyasu more than Yasu gave him for the boat in the first place. So we have a little scene where Carrot and Wanda are sneaking into like the Shogun's farm thing where they're like making weapons and food and clean food, and they mentioned something about they got in because Carrot has, I guess, hole digging skills, which I think is an anime original detail.
Yes.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, rabbits.
Mm-hmm. She's multi-talented.
Yeah.
There we go.
They're trying to sneak food out, but Carrot's making a little noise eating carrots. And they have to have a little tiny bicker about that. And they leave a note pinning their crime on the Atamaya Thieves Brigade.
That part's always so funny to me that they're like, we're gonna pin this on the guy we want to join forces with us because that way he has no choice. And I was like, I mean, you're not wrong.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah. It's definitely one of their more dastardly moves, which is interesting. It's just cool. It's interesting. They're pirates.
So we come back and we're back in the flower capital, and Frankie is being scolded by his carpenter mentor Minatomo for kind of skipping out on work because he wanted to see the Oiron. But Minatomo gives him some slack. He's like, okay, I understand. 1, pretty girl. 2, you already do like 10 times the work of one man. So who am I to demand your full attention all the time if you're doing this good of work? So Frankie was working for this man because he wanted the blueprints to Onigashima Castle, to Kaido's place. And I guess this is something that Minatomo had promised him, and now he's just remembering, oh yeah, I pawned it 10 years ago. And so we get this. First of all, Frankie starts pulling out rocket launchers just out in the middle of daylight.
But he calls them Franosuke rocket launchers, so he's still undercover.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. A super subtle undercover here, just being undercover in Wano.
No one has any questions about where this like space age technology comes from. So yeah, Frankie has to run around town, figuring out where these blueprints went to, and so he checks out the pawn shop first, and then I wrote all these names down for some reason.
I guess because they're all from Rakugo, so like people in Japan, they might be more likely to recognize it.
Oh, true. Yeah, and every person who gets mentioned, they get a little ukiyo-e painting to accommodate them.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because it feels like filler, but it's just this is straight up what happened.
Yeah, I mean it's padded out a little bit more.
Yeah,
but it's mostly what happened in the manga. So the pawn shop sold it to a guy named Kumagoro, the from the tenement, who gave it to Kobe, his landlord, because he couldn't pay his rent 1 week, I guess. And then the landlord gave it to Kisegawa, the geisha, who gave it to Tokijiro, who's, as far as we can tell, just some guy, who gave it to Rakuda, which I think means camel, but it's just a guy named Rakuda. And then finally, it must be somebody from Curry who was hiding their face stole it, and now we don't know where it is. It's somewhere in Curry.
I loved that whole sequence. I thought it was done so well. And then every time it had like the really nice painting and then like what they actually look like and the camel. I thought it was so funny.
The camel bit, it made me wish that like eyelashes would come back somehow in Wano, but obviously not.
So Frankie runs into Conjuro, who is trying to make a living selling drawings of fish.
Hear me out. Conjuro has to be colorblind, right? Like, there's no way that dude is not colorblind. And he's, like, in disguise wearing the brightest purple coat I have ever seen with these nasty fish. Like, this dude is insane. I love that the anime has just been like, yes, Wano is colorful, so we have to make Conjuro stand out even more.
I was gonna say that the whole selling his fish seemed like a good business plan, but like nobody wants them. They all are very
That one
suspicious
woman bought one,
Yeah.
which was amazing. I was like, what price is he selling these at? They've got to be like the lowest cost because that woman bought one.
They're just like
Would they
giant
taste-
catfish.
Would they taste good? I guess it's a good way. People are like starving. Go to Ikebukuro Town, or like spoilers, I guess, but like I don't know, feed people with those fish.
No, because he said in Dressrosa that he ate his own cabbage, and I think it gave him a stomach ache.
They just, like,
So it's
taste
just
like
terrible.
I just imagine they
Aw.
taste like chalk or paint.
Ugh.
Or paint.
Ugh, probably gross.
So yeah, this is when we come back to Kinemon, who's hearing that okay, so we don't have the blueprints, but they are probably somewhere here in Curry. That doesn't give us a lot of leads, but I assume that will come back up later in the story. And this is where they kind of explain their plan of trying to pressure Shuten Maru into action.
Oh, but it was very funny because they have a copy of the note. So for a second, I just imagined it was like, oh, you mean this note? And it's like the gag that they didn't leave it. But they did.
Funny.
They just have a copy.
I think they've got lots, so they can leave lots of calling cards.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we come back, and Zoro is still gambling, but he catches the gamble house cheating. They have like some dude under the floorboards, under like the straw, like poking the dice with the needle to roll them over. I don't know how they would like know when they need to poke the dice, or they definitely had some sort of system where that guy like puts his pipe out like as a signal to the guy under the floor.
Yeah, but how would they know?
Yeah, like how do they know if it's
I was
evens or
thinking
odds
the
before
same
they?
thing. I was assuming it was just Zoro was so good they just went for the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was. They're like, oh, I guess we'll just have to do that. It could have backfired on them pretty well. He could have just messed with them.
And the person with like the dice had curly eyebrows like Sanji.
Yeah, yep.
So just imagining that Zoro hated him just for that.
So yeah, Zoro, he just has a sixth sense for these things. He's like, oh, a sharp object's nearby. I must do something with this. So he does his no sword style dragon twister and busts a hole through the roof and reveals the little compartment they have under the floor. And then that brings us to the eye catch of the episode. And then when we come back from commercial break, it's the big fight scene. Zoro does this one sword style dragon quake, which looks like taking one of those like zigzag scissors and just cutting people.
Oh, can we talk about how horny it was when it like showed the raindrops on Zoro's earrings?
Oh,
Pretty good.
It was very cool. It was a cool animation choice because it was like, you know what, Zoro's cool was kind of what this episode was.
That's true. I mean, he had his own hype man the entire episode.
Yes.
yeah. So they beat up some guys and they get their money back. And it's not hard to get your money back if you just blew the roof off of the ceiling. So
and it's funny, Totally also stops him from murdering the dude, but like his big head is going so close to the guy, I'm more scared of the guy for now than I was for Zoro.
Yeah, and like while Tony, it's like a whole like minute of like Tonoyasu talking to this guy, and his head is like almost imperceptibly like getting bigger in the image. It's like very slowly.
One of those Reddit posts where it's just like, oh, every day I make Tonoyasu's head a little bigger.
Oh, it's just I think I took a picture of one of the like, him. He just takes up like half of the screen.
Zoro's just in the background, just kind of blurred out.
Tonoyasu's my favorite now, just because of this. I need to reread the manga because I like his head. I just can't get over it.
So they're on their way. It's nice and sunny now, and Yasu's explaining that they call me the sycophant Yasu, and they're coming upon the flower capital in the distance. And Yasu's talking about his hometown of Ebisu, and Zoro is wondering what kind of town that is, and Yasu's like, "Oh, you'll see." And then we come to another scene. It's Orochi is bargaining with CP0, and this is the first time we're seeing Orochi in the anime outside of like the opening. And did we know he had purple hair before? Is that
I don't
new?
think so. I
'Cause
thought he was on the
looks
cover
different.
already.
Yeah, it didn't look familiar. I was like, oh, I don't know why it didn't occur to me that his hair would be purple. It just seems like that's the MO at this point.
Purple, here's the thing. I don't know why purple is always associated with like snake characters, but like it always is.
Is
and
it?
I understand it feels like very snaky purple. I
Oh,
don't know.
Orochimaru? Is that?
I think that's what it was.
Oh.
Like, as a child, I was like, purple snakes, clearly because of Naruto.
Yeah.
I was thinking like purple for royalty,
Yeah, that's usually.
but that might be more like English stuff rather than Japanese.
I mean, it works.
Hmm.
If you want to make the connection, it works, I think.
Yeah. And his voice scares me. I
Yes.
don't like it.
Oh
So
yeah,
last week we were talking about how like his voice was like so deep and gruff, and we didn't expect that. And now it's kind of settling more towards where I expected it to be, where he's really just a total loon.
Yeah, you mentioned last week that it was Hogback's voice, and it's so much more obvious now.
Yeah.
It's great actually. I really like it. It makes the scenes more fun a lot.
Because Orochi is like my favorite part of Wano now, so I'm glad that he gets like a scary
big.
voice and just gets to be wild.
Buck teeth.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's talking about how so like because Wano is self-sufficient and because they're making deals with the government that Orochi has a lot of and Orochi has Kaido backing him up, so he has a lot of leverage over the world government. So he's saying, okay, we've been making deals. Next deal, I want Dr. Vegapunk, which is an exciting development. Can't wait for that to go somewhere in a year or two.
Yeah. Oh, and he shot CP0 like in the face.
Yeah, he shot the dude in the face. It like bounces off his mask, but like knocks his hat off.
And I was like, whoa.
And then he starts turning into his big like snake Hydra form. And we don't get to see it in full, but it's like kind of a cool silhouette.
And CP0's they're talking. Their masks melds move. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, definitely one of them. And I was like, wait, that's a mask.
So as we near the end of the episode, we have Nami and Shinobu who are kind of looking up at the Shogun's castle. Think they're planning to sneak in and whatnot. And Komurasaki is being brought to the front gate because she was invited by the Shogun. And then the final scene with a little juxtaposition, a little, you have Momonosuke and Otama, and Momonosuke is like practicing his sword with his little kendo stick thing. And he's explaining to Tama that he has a little sister who should be alive. If she's alive, she would be about 26 years old. And he has, if he can't see her until the war is over, or else Orochi will know about her whereabouts and then go after her. So he's just hoping his sister's alive. He's hoping that they'll win this battle and they'll see each other again. And it's pretty obvious that we're supposed to be making some connections here between Hiyori and this Komurasaki lady.
But it is funny when Momo's like practicing slashing. He sounds like Link from Legend of Zelda. Like,
oh yeah, I hear that.
I was like, who's the voice actor who does that? Like, we should have got him for Momo somehow.
That's to be continued. General thoughts on this episode, you guys?
Oh, it's kind of more for last episode, but Komurasaki is straight out of Parasite. If any of you guys have seen that.
Yes, I just saw it last night.
Not yet. I will.
Oh, you should. Especially the I don't like poor people bit. I was like, oh, wow. And spoiler stuff for her also ties into that. But I like the episode overall. It was nice that we got some like the gambling. I don't think we saw in the manga.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cool just to see like just relax with Zoro, and then they're like, wait, where the hell is he? And like a bit of a more implied filler with actually seeing them leave the note. Like I thought it was very fun that they managed to do like so much with not that much, while not feeling like it dragged on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like this episode. I mean, obviously not a ton happened, but I enjoyed pretty much every scene. I thought they were done well. Even I was a little distracted by Tonoyasu's head for half of it. But I don't know. Every little bit was really like just nice to watch. Even the stuff with like Carrot and Wanda, and just like the whole like, oh, we dug a hole in and left this thing. I was like, all right, that's a cute addition. And Orochi's voice actor is great. I rewatched Thriller Bark earlier last year, And I don't know, that arc has some of the best voice acting I think that we've had in the series, especially Hogback's, because he goes through the yeah.
Oh yeah, I was
he
trying
has
to think
like
of his laugh.
normal voice, like when he was pretending to be like a cool doctor, and then he has like the really scary voice, and I think it works really well for Orochi. So I'm super excited for more scenes of that.
Yeah, I think the relaxed pace here is working a lot better for Act 2 so far than it did for Act 1. Act 1, we're just trying to get like the actual wheels turning for the for the remainder of the arc. So the fact that things kind of take their time and there's a lot of slow build up, I think, kind of hurts the momentum and the kind of pace. But here we're kind of supposed to be, we're taking our time, we're putting plans into motion, we're kind of enjoying the atmosphere of Wano. So the filler, the implied filler, or just like kind of taking our times with scenes, I think pays off a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you can.
Or there's a scene when like Momo's talking about there were people who saw his mother dying, so that makes me really curious about what we might see in the future.
Yeah.
Like who was that even? Because I think we already know. We don't for the anime. I haven't been watching a lot. We already got the time travel stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, who saw that? I wonder. Whoever was left behind must have told them about it, or the people, or she was already dying when she got sent. Or they got sent. So I'm very curious about like any tidbits of information we get about Toki.
Yeah, there's definitely something up there that is in the works, and it's hard to suss out the details quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this episode was pretty solid. I think that there's good variety of scenes, for what we're covering. Like I like the Frankie stuff. I like the Zoro stuff. I like the Momo stuff. It feels like they got enough in here for an episode. So yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Oh, has anyone said that Orochi has like a Jughead crown yet? I know we've called it a burger.
Oh, I think so.
Burger
I think
King. Okay. There's been the Burger King one, but I was like, oh, he's Jughead.
Yeah, because it like kind of one of the corners kind of bends.
Yeah. Oh well, I can't wait till someone like hits it off his head.
All right. Anything else you guys want to say, or are we ready to move on to the next segment?
Down with Orochi.
I think we're good.
All right, let's move.
All right, this is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, concerns, best recipes for boiled Odin. And we have Joe from the Discord. Can you pull it up, Joe?
Yep, I got it right here.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
So the first question is from Nestify. Hello, ladies and ladies. Great to hear from all of you again. Now here's a thought about how about instead of ship wars, there wasn't much of a war. How about fleet talk or something? Anyways, if you do end up doing another segment, have you heard of OT3s? Why have a war when you can spread love all around? And if so, do you have any favorite OT3s? And they list some of their favorites as Shanks, Ben, and Makino, or Sabo, Marco, and Ace. And then they continue, if not, what are your favorite bro TPs? Mine is definitely Usopp and Luffy, brothers, best friends for life. Thank you all for your hard work.
Sorry. Jill, go ahead.
I love OT3s.
Heck yeah.
Pretty much my favorite because I'm so tired. Love triangles are so boring. Oh my god, just make them all bone. Like,
Thank you. Thank you.
It's so
Share the
trite.
love.
Yeah, come on. It's I don't understand, being constrained with that. Let's just go with OT3s at this point.
Why stop at 3?
Right? Right? What is the term now? Polycule? I was introduced to that term recently. I'm down for that.
Oh,
exactly.
What are some of your favorite OT3s?
I'm sorry, I'm a chronic monogamist.
Ah, darn. If only, that wasn't the most prevalent thing.
I guess for me, I think for like the Straw Hats, I think I have a picture of the Straw Hats on my wall, so I'm looking at that. But like, I think throwing Usopp into any ship makes me happy as well for OT3s. So like Zoro and Sanji, and then Usopp as well, because I think like it helps their dynamic a little bit to have someone who's not like the one.
before I got super into Lalu, I was down with Kid Law and Lu because of that scene at Shabandi. Like instantly that showed up and I was like, yes, let's just wreck some shit.
As far as bro TPs go, like I have a lot of feelings for like Luffy and Nami as a bro TP, and also Luffy and Usopp.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Luffy, Usopp, and Law would be cool. I don't know if Law likes sharing.
Probably not.
Joe very specifically not responding to that.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what to say. I mean, people are entitled to their opinion. I don't know.
And I don't know what it says about me that I have the manga where it's basically the whole crew at the same time. So
I've read that.
I'm not going to say I haven't read it. Wasn't it called Mary Shipping for a while? I remember the Mary Shipping being up through Sanji, so it was. I read some fic of that. That was pretty good.
mm-hmm.
It gets a little
equal opportunity hookup. Just go for it. You're on a boat all this time. Go crazy.
I remember reading this one, and they very deliberately said Chopper was not there.
Every single one. It's always like, and then Chopper went away.
Chopper could run errands. You got to.
Yeah,
you
like Chopper was at the helm, and I was like, thank you.
I think I've read somewhere it was Zoro, Sanji, and Nami, which is interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as of a lesbian Nami definitely is, I like that dynamic.
As long as Chopper was running errands, anything goes on that ship as far as I'm concerned.
I'm concerned of what Book would do in that situation.
Plays the mood music in the background.
Okay,
He's just sitting in the room.
Oh my god! I'm just having like this vision of them giving Chopper like NyQuil laced cotton candy so he passes asleep. It's like put him down below.
All right. Is there another Discord question?
Yes, there is. SBS Stella says, "Hey OPP, it's the season of love. My OTP is me and myself. Self-love fashionable now. But don't tell Hancock. She might look in the mirror and turn herself into stone. I'm feeling very conflicted about Odin in this chapter. Making himself a fool to save his people? I sleep. Standing in a pot of boiling oil for an hour while he holds his friends aloft? Real shit. I feel like he hasn't been developed super well, and I really want to see the Straw Hats again, and in the present. But I'm only human, and that panel of Odin holding his retainers got me hyped. Teamwork is wonderful. What a wonderful manga about saving our friends. Thanks for all y'all do for the One Piece podcast community and for hosting another Kuja cast."
I think it definitely is nice to see Odin like actually give a shit about the people, because it seems like he just left them really easily. He even like had Izzo left him pretty easily as well. Like he hasn't really bonded with people, like hasn't got that chance to spend that much time with people. So it's nice that he actually does care about the people, because it doesn't seem like they were even friends before.
And his track record before, I mean, yeah, he was, the typical folklore hero, but it wasn't like he was actually always doing everything right.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I like that as we've gone through this series, it's basically Odin's been doing whatever he wants and people have been supporting him. And at this point, now he's paying it back literally with his life by supporting them.
Yep.
So I do kind of like how that ended up being turned around.
And I guess sorry, go ahead.
Part of his like stoicness is also it's like a very old fashioned like Japanese masculinity of like a guy like when he does something for someone else or when he shows that he cares, like he's not supposed to like make a big deal out of it, or like he just sort of silently accepts. Like that's it's a part of an image that I think you see a lot of it, especially in this case when it's like a lord and his followers as opposed to like a guy and his friends. And so I feel like it's probably a character dynamic that is a little more familiar to Japanese readers, where it's like, the way that you show he cares is like when he's sort of just hanging out and they have all these kids that are like running around and screaming and chasing each other earlier in the flashback. And the fact that he's just like, okay, that's cool. I'm cool with this is like sort of, the way that is depicted. But it's not as much of a like, giving hugs to your bros sort of a dynamic that we see. But I do like the way that Jill just phrased it too.
Okay, and the last one is from Straw Hat Pirate 9. They say, "This chapter, Very nice touch on Oda's part to show us what happens to a normal person when they go into the boiling pot of oil. It was brutal. Also, after that tearful declaration from Shinobu, I can't see her being a traitor. If she is, then Oda has, as Grant says, made a clown out of me. I also wanted to share some of my favorite ships to the Kuja cast. I stand Luffy and Zoro, original OTP. Jill, you have made me fall in love for Law and Luffy, though they are cute. Nami and her ladies, always and forever, and Frankie and Robin, to name a few. I look forward to Kuja cast number 3.
Yay, Frankie Robin. Good shit.
Robin. But I did like that Oda does it a lot where he shows like how a normal person reacts to something before it happens to one of our monster characters. But I did like that guy just straight up just slipping in there. I was like, wow, you think you'd be more careful, right?
What a dumbass.
I thought Odin pushed him for a second, but he
slips. Yeah.
It just reminded me of Odin like holding on to the back of the ship for 3 days.
Yeah.
So like I don't think, because Odin says like it's imperative that I survive. So I think like he's not thinking he'll die, even though like we know he will. But I wonder if maybe Orochi cheats or something, even though we've been told he dies by drowning. It'd be interesting if like Orochi like stabs him in the neck or something.
I could see that, or I don't know Orochi's powers, how that would work with it, but I could definitely see something extra happening. Or there's a bunch of ninja around. I'm sure one of them could like, I don't know, shoot a needle into his knee somehow and make him fall.
Oh yeah, I don't think that those ninja are shown just for convenience. Like I feel like there's definitely a chance that they could be involved with something.
Yeah, he's been focusing on them panels recently, so I think they're gonna for this.
Yeah, and like I didn't really mention it before, but I still don't trust Shinobu at all in the slightest.
I didn't, but after this chapter, I do. I think I was a little suspicious, especially because we got like the scene of her looking into the deal with Oden and Orochi. But this is a good speech, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, that doesn't mean she's not righting or wrong. Like, you could still give a good speech and have messed up. So, you know, I think there's still room for speculation there. But yeah, I still liked her speech a lot.
Yeah, for me, it's just like she just seemed to just kind of come out of nowhere, and we're just supposed to trust her with like no background given, or like very little background given. It's because Oda didn't
bother to write her.
Or it's because she's a ninja and she just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. I guess like I want to believe her speech, and I really do, but I wonder if maybe she lost faith in the people of Wano.
Maybe.
And like she spent those 20 years basically by herself because the Akazai 9 were gone. She might have flipped or like decided to take like the lesser evil of protecting as many people as she could, and she doesn't believe that they can do it anymore. I don't know.
Well, we don't really know here's the thing. She revealed herself here. So all the other ninja and everyone in front of Kaido and Orochi, they know that she's basically on Oden's side. So what happened to her? Like, definitely something has happened to get her to the current day. And it's probably not good. It's 20 years.
Well, it's also interesting that, like, she's saying and revealing all this stuff about them, and Kaido and Orochi aren't doing anything about it. They're just like, okay, you can just reveal our whole plan. That's fine.
Because it's that confidence. They're just like, we're not going to lose. And I'm a gigantic dragon man. We're good.
Oh, I'm trying to tell if the Obi player is here and if the old lady is, because there's 2 people on either side of them, but I think it's just people pouring tea or sake or whatever.
I would have thought they'd be here. I don't know if they're trying to be like more in the background throughout the entire thing. Okay. Joe, did you say that was it for Discord?
Yeah, that's the last one.
Okay. Well, does anyone want to... Stephanie, you've read it, right?
Yeah, or do we want to read that one email that we have?
Right. Okay, I'll read the email. So we got an email from Ben Wild saying, hey, what do you think of the Minks being regarded as gods after this arc? We know this concept already exists in Wano, and given the coming Sulong transformation, the people might see that as an act of gods. This would also go with the idea that the Minks will be living on or near Wano if Zonisha dies.
I don't know where they're getting this, that they were regarded as gods before.
It's like the animal spirit thing, because on Wano they don't know of they know of devil fruits, but they think of them as sorcery. So I could definitely see them seeing minks and thinking them as like animal spirits. But on the other hand, we already saw them with Cat Viper and Dogstorm as children, and they just beat them up. So
Yeah,
they
exactly.
think they're gods. They don't care that much.
And like it's been said that like only the Kazukis knew about the minks in the first place, which is why they got beaten up when they first arrived.
It's a long transformation, though. That might do some stuff.
Like they thought fishmen were kappa, so I don't know if there's like an animal spirit that they might be like, oh, they've come to save us, and they can like pretend to be that.
We have the fox, right?
Oh yeah, so they could just be like, oh, we're kitten people, but it's like even like the minks haven't really interacted with the people that much. So I guess maybe they'll get to see them in the final battle or something, but it would have been nice to maybe have seen that a bit more, because the minks have definitely been hiding, because they would, like, going out and about would reveal them.
I imagine once Wano is opened, theoretically at the end of this arc, we're going to get some interactions that I think will be really good. Although people of Wano, historically terrible. So
That's all right. Zanesha can come and bitch slap them with her trunk.
Yeah, there we go. Sunesha just walks up that waterfall.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting because, like, I feel like the minks are almost like a foil for the Wano society, where, like, you can see how the isolationism has made Wano, like, the people of Wano very sort of self-interested and kind of cruel. And the minks are also isolated, but they seem to be very tight-knit, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure if that was by design or if that was just kind of storytelling convenience, but they're very different in that regard.
I do. Yeah, I love that comparison, especially considering the Kozuki and the minks are supposed to be so close knit. I think that's really interesting how they've kind of developed separately like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the minks are much more loyal than the people of Wano are.
Yeah. I wonder when that sort of divide, because I would assume at one point perhaps there was a little bit of a, maybe they were less, there was that less animosity, but I'm kind of curious because, like, even with, you're talking about going to Zoe, they had that, was it the bell to welcome visitors or to like to let people know people had come to visit versus something like Wano where it's just like so isolationist and kind of afraid of other people and hostile.
I guess that story about the minks and the Kozuki being old partners, maybe that's like a, sort of a void century type old ancient history thing that we'll find out how that came about, when we get more backstory. Yeah.
It would have been cool if like Toki had reacted to minks or something. Or I guess has Toki seen a mink? Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm going like back. Or I guess she's seen Cat Viper.
She must have, because they were all together, the vassals.
Yeah. So that would have been cool, but I definitely agree with Stephanie that like that connection is probably during the Void Century, and then it fell to the wayside for some reason. So I hope maybe we get a hint of what their connection was in any kind of Toki like information thing that we get, even like a breadcrumb.
Yeah. All right, should we go to Reddit then?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, we just have a couple questions here. Starting off with Dr. Vegapunk PhD, who says, "Hey OPP, I'm not crying. Shut up, you're crying. Wow, could Oda make Oden any more epic, staring down his inescapable end? Do any of you think that at some point later on will any of the non-devil fruit users on the crew eat one?" That was very much a non sequitur.
Whoa. Oh. I think it would be cool to see Zoro not eat it, but kind of make a sacrifice like that for the crew, since he kind of has a similar thing to Oden of that kind of stoicism. And I guess like he does care about the crew, but it would be cool to see him like. I like the idea of him like them being all piled on top of him for some reason. Like he has to carry all the devil fruit users across the water, or like it full of piranhas. I don't know. I wanted to die.
just to go off of that, I did see some interesting comments that like the Zoro's parallels with Oden too, that he's very much a character of the same vein, because like he's all about the perseverance, like taking the pain for the crew from Kuma, but also like when we first see Zoro, he is like chained up to a post and like carrying out this really stupid promise with an obviously corrupt guy who has no intention of fulfilling the promise, and Zoro is just like too honorable to not, you know, take that promise up. So it's kind of interesting how their characters are similar.
Not only that, but Zoro believes Helmeppo. He straight up thinks he's going to let him go, which might be the same thing with Odin. Has more trust in. I mean, obviously, I don't know why he would have any trust in Orochi and Kaido, but I think he does believe they're going to let his people go after he makes the hour, which there's no way that's all going to go so smoothly.
Yeah.
It's interesting for Kaido to be the one, since Kaido's like immortal, basically. So I wonder if there's something he finds fascinating about watching a mortal person be tortured.
I think if you're immortal, you just got to get your kicks where you can.
Yeah, you just got to stay entertained at that point.
But there's and I don't know.
Want things to happen.
There's something where I feel that Kaido would maybe like hold the deal, but Orochi is going to not.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was Kaido on his own, I don't know. There's something about his character that makes his immortality kind of mixed with that.
And he's a giant dragon. I mean, let's be honest. Most people can't really do anything to him. You know, you're immortal. You're super powerful. You're almost untouchable at that point. So he probably doesn't really look at anyone as a threat.
I think that Orochi's definitely gonna screw something up with the deal, something underhanded. But if it was just Kaido, he'd probably let him live and hold up his end of the deal, but then like do the same thing where he like put Kid and Luffy in the prison to try to make them work for him. I think that's what he would do. He would try to like pull Odin
recruit,
because he's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, our next question. So we did talk about Shinobu during this chapter discussion, but Foodgasm has a question. After this chapter, do you still think there's a traitor in the Akazaya 9?
I hope not. I was trying to think I'm still trying to think of that split between Cat Viper and Dogstorm. If something happened there, but that's a giant reach. So I hope it's not the Akazaya 9. Like I can't really. The thing is that we don't really know anything about. I'm forgetting his name. Painter guy.
Oh,
Kanjuro.
Rizo?
Or Kanjuro and Rizo. We don't know like anything about either of them.
Denjiro.
Or Denjiro too could like.
Yeah, I was gonna say if Denjiro has connections, if he ends up leaving the country, I'm like, oh.
I don't know. I feel like Denjiro really got in this flashback. He pretty much got confirmed as being Kyoshiro because he's all about money, and they said that he was going around lending and borrowing money, and we know that Kyoshiro is the money changer for Orochi. So I feel like it's too much to be a coincidence. So I do feel like that's who Denjiro is. But as for why, I don't know why he's doing what he's doing now. I don't know. Like after this chapter where they're like literally you can see him saving their lives, it's kind of like there has to be a really good reason if one of them is still a traitor, like in the present day and everything. Because that's real dirty to do that to the guy who put you on his back like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, let's go on to the next question from Nivers, who says, if you shipped any male One Piece characters with any male Simpsons characters, who would you ship? My ship is Moji Vinslack. Okay, so, all right, okay, so that's Mo Sislak, the bartender, but then it's just the G and then Vinsmoke. So it could be any of the Vinsmoke brothers. Technically, it could be a Chiji, Niji, Sanji, Yonji,
or all of them.
Yes, all of them.
There we go.
This is the weirdest question.
Nami with Mr. Burns, so she could take all this money, and she doesn't even like touch him. She just like give me money.
Oh, this
She's like, okay.
This is specifically male and male.
Oh, male. Sorry, I forgot.
Well, you couldn't put Homer and Luffy together because they'd fight over food.
Kaneki and Homer, same deal.
Yes. No, they'd be the perfect relationship. I'm trying Principal Skinner with who?
I think I've watched like 3 episodes of The Simpsons in my life, so I'm not really qualified for this answer.
I just had the spot in my head. I just kind of want to see Buggy and Krusty hang out and just do something together.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, that would be pretty epic.
Zorro and Homer can drink together and bond over that.
Oh man.
And Zorro was already in The Simpsons. It's canon.
That's true.
Oh my God.
That's
Oh yeah, Homer
Canon.
was Zorro. Yeah, that's
He was
right.
visiting his boyfriend.
No, his boyfriend was dressed up like him. That's what it was.
Oh yeah. He's dressing
Borrowed
up
his
like his
clothes.
boyfriend.
Yeah, he borrowed his clothes.
I feel like Smithers and Iceberg would be a really nice couple.
Aww.
This is such a cursed question.
All right. Let's see. Grand Reboot says, considering how the townspeople are going willy-nilly to watch a man get boiled to death for entertainment, does it make it okay that I am not feeling as sympathetic for the Wano citizens anymore? I had a similar feeling with the Dressrosa residents after their jeering of Rebecca. Not that I liked her either. I'd like to know if any of you felt similar.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, I don't really care about Wano people anymore.
I mean, you see nice people in the present, so we know the whole country's not like that. But you also see what Stephen was talking about before with the isolationism making people cruel. So you definitely have a cruelty undertone and a sort of I don't even know what the word would be, but like just there's definitely like sort of an archaic and violent undertone there. So I think I can't say I have sympathy for the whole country because you see people like that, but there are some good people there too.
You see the whole range of human nature among them.
I guess like I still have sympathy for them just like because like the cruelty to survive almost. But yeah, they're not good people. I think it's also just Oda's like writing of them is interesting because I guess like even the people of Alabasta, they were like fighting against each other. Mm-hmm. And we kind of like Vivi had her faith in them. And it was like, absolute. Well, like Odin doesn't really have that. I guess I'm kind of unfair comparison between like the two royals that we've seen.
But that makes sense though when you think about it. Like he's like maybe he doesn't have faith in them, and that's why because of the fact they've been closed off, and because he knows like the way their hearts are at their core. So he's like, I have to shoulder this, and I have to keep my mouth shut because I'm not going to get support. The citizens of my country don't have it in them, perhaps, or not enough of them have it in them to rise up or care enough to do this.
That's true. And if all Odin really wanted to do was be free, because his entire thing is how he's so stifled in Wano, he could have just left and never come back.
Oh yeah, he could have stayed on that boat. He had his whole family.
But he did want to come back, and he does want to help his country, even if it's by being stoic and things go to shit. Basically, he does care about the people of Wano, and I think he wants them to be better because he's. Especially after he went out and like made such good friends on the sea and seeing everything, and he thinks Wano could be better than what it is. We should open it up.
Mm-hmm.
I would like that more if he hadn't already he left them twice. One time he left them just because I want to go because I want to leave, and the second time he knew they were in trouble and he goes I got to go treasure hunting.
Well, I mean he didn't want to go. He was like worried that he was like I think something bad is going on here, and. But this is my only chance to do this one thing. And Toki was like, no, you need to go. You need to see this.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's but Toki, that's the only personality she gets. So I get that she's basically the excuse for Odin to leave.
But once again, she might know something. I'm still not completely convinced that the extent of her powers is just shooting people into the future. So I wonder if she's like, he's got to do this. He's got to go. This is part of what has to happen. Everything here is what is supposed to happen. But I think it just really does kind of echo that. I don't really think he has a whole lot of faith in his countrymen to do the right thing.
Yeah. From the start, I think from the start of the flashback, even though he looks pretty much the same from the start to the end, it really is. Like if you read between the lines, he is growing and maturing as a person, even if he doesn't like constantly state what his cause is at every moment. He is like that kind of impetuous, youthful character at the start. And then after he has seen the world, then it is like he kind of realizes what he has at home, or that's where his ultimate, sympathies lie, or where his care, what he cares about, is in his family and in his people.
I would have liked if Oda like focused on that, because we don't really see that.
Yeah,
he
doesn't. Right. Yeah, it's not super obvious the way that it's depicted. So,
and I kind of think we do need that if Oda wants to start it with him abducting or misunderstanding women or whatever's going on there. But like, I think we do kind of like need that moment of him, because I guess like we get like, oh, Roger doesn't like attacking civilians, and he's like, oh, I learned a lot of stuff on my adventures. Like, what'd you learn? But like, obviously this flashback's already long enough. But it's just like, I feel like Odin could have been a little bit more of the focus, because we got lost in the Roger stuff. I don't know.
I was gonna say, like, when he came back, he mentioned like, I don't want to be the leader, but I know I'm better for this country than Orochi is. And back to like with civilians, they're almost like victims of just the political powers at play.
And honestly, Toki's a better leader. Like, she spent that year or so like with the people and actually getting to know them. Put her in charge.
But I think like, because you mentioned like in the present they all seem pretty nice, so I kind of wonder like if Odin is what changed them. Like, they were bitter and isolationist and cruel, but then after Odin's sacrifice, they're a little more generous.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the present day, the pattern that you see is like the people that are in the capital are clearly like the ones who are kind of thriving under Orochi's rule, and so they're just kind of naturally more selfish, and then the ones who are on the outside are more sympathetic, and they're also kind of the victims of the system that's been enacted.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm trying to say with these people too. It's like, I think that like I guess I'm trying to sympathize with them in a sense where it's like there's all these political powers at play, and they're all still victims to it. Like, they're being sold into slavery and whatnot, and kidnapped.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, like they have no control. So like, that's the bit of control they have. Not as good.
Our last question on Reddit is from Prince of Assassins. It says, I came across a take that really intrigued me. It's about Oden's character for all of his machismo or chadness or BDE. So that's a big Will of D energy, I'm going to say. He keeps doing everything.
His name's Owen. It's not Odin. It's Owen.
He keeps doing everything on his own. He makes decisions for others, refuses to let anyone else in on his secret for dancing, and just doesn't utilize the support system he has. Even in this chapter, we have a brilliant symbolism of him taking all the burden on himself, with him literally supporting his vassals all by himself. I know a lot of people called him remarkably similar to Luffy, but this one difference is a pretty large one when it comes to him being a foil to Luffy, and I think it was set that way as to why Luffy will succeed here where Oden, for as much of his power and charisma, had failed. It's really interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, because it's his pride, right? He's and he doesn't know how to broaden himself by working with others, and I think that's a really, really good point, because in every sense of the word, Luffy is the opposite of that. He does try to take things on to a certain extent, but he also puts faith in his crew, lets his crew in. So, he's similar, but at the same time, he does rely on people, and he has faith in people to help him out.
Yeah, I love seeing comparisons between Odin and Luffy, because this panel of Odin holding up the Yakuza 9, I could 100% see Luffy doing that with the crew. That is such a Luffy thing to do. But on the other hand, I don't think that they would let it get to that point.
No,
it's so different. Odin basically gathered these people around him by the power of his charisma, but he didn't go out to search for them. Luffy specifically took his crew, and he has so much faith in them that he'd probably like outright like be like, you guys come up with the plan, I'll just follow it around.
Oh, they wouldn't tell him the plan. They would have a plan ready. They'd be like, okay, you hold this up, and then they would execute their plan, but he wouldn't have any issue with them doing it. Whereas I feel like an Odin would be like, stop, no, it has to be me. It has to be me.
Yeah. And because like Odin is so strong that he almost like doesn't need people, while Luffy specifically is like, oh, I can't draw a map. I can't use swords. Well, that's something that Odin wouldn't say, because Odin can use swords. Odin can like kick into ass of all these people just by himself. So it's like, I don't know.
It's almost like all the comparisons to like Hercules and these sort of Greek myths, that it's like he is such a heroic figure that he's also kind of lonely in his way. It's like he can't, like he's so much more powerful than anyone else that it's kind of impossible for him to see others, at least in Wano, on his own level. And that's partially why, he ends up taking all of this on himself and dying as a result.
When he doesn't have to. Do it.
Yeah.
But that's the real tragedy here. He doesn't have to, but it's his pride and his ego and his sense of, like you said, not feeling like he's on the same level. But who cares if you're on the same level? You can still let people in.
Yeah. That's it for Reddit.
Okay.
Can I do the piece to tweet thing?
Yeah, Kelly, you have Twitter ready?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Piece the tweet. Yeah.
All right. We don't have a whole heck of a lot of piece to tweet today. But let's get started. We've got one saying, "Hey, KujaCast, question for the My Hero Academia co-hosts. What moment from One Piece would you like Horikoshi to redraw, and what moment from My Hero Academia would you like Oda to redraw? Thinking when the authors of Dr. Stone and Food Wars made the Zoro and Sanji short stories."
I'm trying to think. I think like Horikoshi really likes drawing hands. So I'm trying to think, like maybe. Oh, what is it Azura when Zoro has many hands and like the
Ashura.
Ashura, or like any Robin scene, like maybe when she in Thriller Bark when she's flying with her wings, might be cool to do just because he has to draw a bunch of limbs.
That would be awesome. I would love to see that.
I want to see him draw the vent smokes, like maybe their transformation movements or something.
Yes.
Oh yeah, anything with hero costumes would be on point.
Soga King. Sniper King.
Yeah, Soga King or Soba Mask, any of those would be fine.
Yes. And what would I want Oda to draw from My Hero? I think it'd be funny for him to draw Mirio, maybe, just because he kind of has like a Tintin face.
Yeah,
and like, it'd be cool to see his style of it.
Selfishly, I'd want to see Shigaraki because he's best boy and I have a terrible crush on him. So
yeah.
Well, Oda likes to draw crying faces. It'd be funny to see him draw like the first chapter when All Might says he could be a hero.
Yes.
Oh, I would cry.
Yes, I'd cry again.
Or Oda's take on All Might, I think would just be interesting too, just because because All Might would be even taller. Because All Might's already 7 feet tall. He would be like giant. Yes. I believe All Might could defeat Kaido. That's what's going to happen in this arc.
Right. So we have another one here. I wonder if Oda is overthinking Wano because he's been looking forward to it for so long and there's so much he wants to do with the arc. Odin just doesn't make me feel things. I'm having a hard time imagining the emotional payoff. I miss Luffy.
I think another part of it that makes this flashback different from the classic One Piece, because of course I think everybody is kind of comparing this flashback to their favorites in the past, is that like in this case, although it is kind of true that Oden is like sort of the inspirational figure for the Akazaya. The Akazaya are not Straw Hats. They're not characters of that kind of profile, or even as much as a Law, for example. Mm-hmm. So it's not really from their perspective. This is like Oden's story, and he is a protagonist character. Like he is a hero. He is not a like a mentor or a guardian or a parental type figure like a Corazon or a Belmare or a Jaguar di Sol. All of these Hero Look, all of these great tragic figures from the flashbacks in the past. And so that kind of difference, I think, it makes it come across differently. And I think that's probably partially why, because it's not as much about like the tragic sacrifice that helps the character that we love so much, because there's a lot of Akazaya, and although I think we all like them to varying degrees, they're not super fleshed out in the same way that the main characters are. And that's just that's part of the difficulty of an arc like Wano, where there's so much kind of local story development and like fleshing out this huge cast of characters, and they have to share time with the Straw Hats, and balancing that, like making it still the story about the Straw Hats, but also having this big setting that Oda really wants to cram all of his story ideas into. It's a really difficult thing, and I'm sure that there are some people who feel like that balance is off because of the way that they, there's only so much space, there's only so many pages to go around.
Yeah, and like one thing I've been thinking is, my theory is he doesn't want to do like another Dressrosa where he tries to flesh out every single little detail, and so that's when we end up with situations where certain characters we want to see don't get fleshed out, and so I can kind of sympathize with him in that sense.
Yeah, it's hard to know how much story, like actual plot, he wants to put into the fighting that we're going to see after this, or if it's just going to be mostly action, because there's still a lot of room to like characterize people that we haven't seen much.
Not only have we been like building up to Wano for so many years, but it's literally like this arc is the culmination of pretty much From Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
So we've been literally collecting characters as we go through to have them in Wano, and then we get all the Wano characters on top of it. So it's really rough, this balancing act that he's gonna have to do.
And not just that, but it's not even just Odin's flashback, but we got like the whole Roger thing too. And so if you count that, you can say we've been building up to this in Skypiea.
I almost wish like the Roger stuff had been separate, because Roger like distracts from Odin a lot, because we really interested in Odin, and then like we kind of get the Laugh Tale reveal, and then we got to go back to Odin again, and it's like I care more about that than I care about Odin, because like he hasn't been fleshed out that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really admire the ambition of the like trying to balance all of these things, and like to make all of like the connections of when, okay, so Odin did this, and then he went to Whitebeard, and then Whitebeard, and then these characters were here, and like fitting all of that together, I think is like, it's almost miraculous that it works at all. But it's definitely it's a lot of it's a very big juggling act, like the arc in general, and so it's like if there's one thing that you like more than the others, like it's kind of destined to only have so much time and like focus put on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the flashback. He's got to get back to the point eventually, or to the present. And I think no matter what, you're gonna be left slightly unsatisfied. You want more. It's just such a big thing. There's so many ties to so many different things that I think you're going to feel shortchanged, because he has to get back to the present time.
I guess I was realizing Odin really kind of reminds me of Mont Blanc Noland, like killing the boar, killing the snake, like gods aren't something that should be put above people. And then also just like being misunderstood by your own people. But then like I feel like Mont Blanc was definitely done better because we cared more about him, and he had that like one person who he had that real connection with, and then you have like the misunderstanding. They realize it at the end, but then they never meet again. Well, here it's just like so many different misunderstandings. Then like there's no one person that we focus on, because again, like I said before, like Odin jumps around to so many different people. Because I think at the beginning it was nice because he was interacting. What's with Kinemon, and I think it like, but then he leaves, and then all of a sudden like he doesn't have that companion character anymore.
I think one of the things, especially with the comparison between the Nolan and Calgara flashback and this one, is that Skypiea, obviously we know it has farther reaches than this nowadays, but it was so closed off originally. That flashback is pretty much completely self-contained. There's no modern day characters in there. It's Nolan, Calgara, the people who were alive at the time. And there's not like anyone who was alive there that's still there now. And it was so condensed. Meanwhile, we see Odin, And I love the guy, but like you show him with Roger, and I'm instantly more interested in Roger because he's king of the pirates. You show Odin in Fishman Island, and I want to see the far-reaching consequences of that. Everything that we see with Odin in the flashback, it just makes me more interested in what it's going to lead into rather than the character itself.
And then on like the flip side, like even the characters that I would be interested, like Toki, it's like, oh, instead you're going to get some Blackbeard mystery. I'm like, I'm already scared of Blackbeard. I don't need more of him. Tell me about Toki. So I don't know. It's kind of like balancing act of the new characters versus the ones like older characters. And I definitely kind of think Oda dropped the ball a little bit on this flashback. I definitely agree with the asker. Like it's the arc, the flashback isn't over yet, but we'll see how it turns out. But I just don't think Odin's that likable.
I think that's everything we have for Piece the Tweet. We don't have a whole heck of a lot this week.
Okay. Then I think we are done with Piece Together segment, unless I missed something. You guys ready to head off into the next segment?
Yep, sounds good.
Let's do it.
This has been the One Piece Podcast episode 608 for the week of Sunday, February 16th, 2020. We had a manga recap of chapter 971, anime recap of episode 922, our Piece Together segment. After the closing, we are going to have our trivia and also another episode of Shipping Wars, so definitely stick along for that. Thanks for coming on, everyone. It's always fun to have the Kuja cast together. This was our Tuja cast episode. So, Kelly, how can our listeners contact you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Karuri.
How about you, Joe?
You can find me on Twitter at JoeOnBoba, and I'm always on the Discord server.
Maddie?
You can find me on Twitter at Oh That's Raspberry, and you can find me on Patreon, patreon.com/Maddie's Art Club. And you can also find my artwork here on the podcast pretty much every week, except when I'm not here.
Kendra?
You can follow me on Twitter at Sniper of My Heart, and you can listen to me on MHA Pod and at HiQ Pod.
And Stephanie?
You may follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus, and you can read my work on One Piece and Samurai 8 every week on shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp.
And I am Pyrotests on Luck on Twitter. And the podcast can be found at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. onepiecepodcast@gmail.com is the email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. You can subscribe on Spotify, subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, 347-497-MAGI.
Maji.
That's 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, theories, cheesy Valentine's cards, or anything else you have to say to us. And don't forget that we are currently being... I forgot the
Sponsored?
word. Yes, that's a word. All right. Hold on, I'll pause.
I was thinking of like hunted. I was like, what? I was like, what's happening?
We're currently being watched. Yes.
We are being sponsored by Viz. You can reach that at viz.com/onepiecepodcast, where you can get a 7-day free trial. And from then, it's only $1.99 a month for all of the Shonen Jump weeklies and the huge backlog. So definitely take a look at that. And our Patreon, One Piece Podcast Patreon for sure.
Give the money.
Give the money. Toss a coin to your podcaster. I think I've already made that joke, and I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. So for the One Piece Podcast this week, my name is Jill.
And my name's Kelly.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, we're not going to do trivia?
I forgot you do it as a separate segment, or do you want to just go straight into it?
Yes.
Oh.
So do we want to do our part 2 of shipping? Do we have anything we want to discuss before we get into trivia? Or do we want to go straight into trivia?
We could do trivia and then shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just make a quick note so I can actually keep track of everyone's score. Stephanie Zex Marquis, are you joining us?
Sure,
absolved
if you
if you
want.
want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make
Well.
Zach do trivia.
Yes, suffer.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Oh no. Oh
I hope
no.
I didn't make these too hard. All right, hold on.
You did, because I'm not going to be able to get him.
Oh, wonder what that feels like.
Revenge. Okay, so I tried to put together sort of a lady-centric set of trivia in honor of our Kuja cast. Now that Jill has coined that word, and I guess what I'll do is I'll just kind of go in order of how we did the chapter, if that's all right with everyone. So we're gonna start with Jill and name a member of the Kuja Pirates.
Oh, Alefandra. Oh wait, she's not part of the pirates. I've already screwed this up. Boa Hancock.
Actually, do you mean Ethelandra?
Yeah, but she's not part of the pirate crew, right?
No,
She's
she is.
just a Kuja.
I thought they
Sweet.
pretty much all were.
I know, because they specifically have the Kuja pirates, and the rest are just like Amazon Lily ladies.
Well, she was listed on the pirates when I looked it up.
Ooh.
So
Is
I'm
that
going
the
to give
wiki?
that one to you.
I guess the question is, are there any people on Amazon Lily that are not part of the Kuja Pirates?
Apparently, there are, according to the wiki.
Okay, I'm curious, but
Yeah, because I think Margaret even said like, "Oh, it's every girl's dream to be part of the Kuja Pirates."
Exactly.
are we doing like a category game where we're all just trying to guess all of the members of the Kuja Pirates one by one?
I have tons of different questions, so I don't know how you guys.
Okay. No, it's your questions. I'm not trying to step on your toes.
So we could try to keep going and see how many we have, or I can move on to another question. Zach, I have a new appreciation of what you have to do here.
I say we try to list them because
Okay, so
That's
let's
a good
try
one to
them.
list until we
All
run
right.
out.
Maddie.
I can't think of a single one.
Jill named two. This is the way to cheat at this game, Maddie. Jill listed two, so you could say one of the ones she said that didn't count.
Oh, so did Hancock not count for Jill?
It counts for you, Maddie.
Nice.
yay.
Sweet.
All right, Kendra.
Oh, Margaret. Is she?
Yes, Marguerite.
Yes.
All right, Stephanie.
Also, I didn't go.
Oh,
You skipped me.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, don't worry, I'll get you.
Okay.
All right. I guess if Margaret counts, then Sweet Pea must count.
She sure does. Joe.
We're just naming Kuja Pirates, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
They're all
Okay.
flowers. Just name a
Oh.
flower.
Yeah. Marigold.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that. Why did I never know that?
All right, Zach. Zex Marquis, whatever your name is.
I like that name. Sandra Sonia, did we say?
You did not, and that is one. All
Like the
right.
only one I know. So that's
Back to Jill.
Just throwing this out there. Is there a Daisy?
There sure as
Yeah.
hell
I
is.
knew it.
What?
Yes.
I didn't wait, which one is Daisy? What is that? What does Daisy
She's
look
got the
like?
weird hair, right? Or is it
Yeah,
someone else?
she's the one who's always
princess.
You could
laughing.
have to be more specific.
Oh.
Oh, the laughing one.
Yeah.
I know which one that is, yeah.
All right. I think, did I do Maddie? Yes, Maddie.
So now we're just naming flowers and hoping that they're right.
Pretty much. Go for it.
All right.
Compost. Say compost.
Wisteria.
Wisteria? Is that what you said?
Wow, you
Nope.
really went out there on that one.
There should
Well, I
be
tried to
one.
think of like
My
a
new OC
Japanese
Kuja pirate.
flower.
Maddie would
Yeah.
definitely win at a game where you have to name flower types, because, whoa, I feel
I have
outclassed there.
Flower tattoos.
I'm wondering if that was because of Demon Slayer. Wisteria.
No, I've never. It's just in Japan. It's like a very special
Yeah, you
flower.
see them everywhere.
It's related to one of the like old families in history.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure there's no chrysanthemum, though, and that one is also...
Oh.
Wisteria is the best name for someone though, so I'm kind of disappointed that
It is a
doesn't-
good name. It is a
Yeah.
good name. All right. Let me see. I think, do we do Kendra next?
Yes. I don't remember the snake, but I remember the snake's name. So I gotta say, Gloriosa. Is she part of the Kuja Cat party people, or is she used to be?
No.
Okay.
All right. Stephanie.
All right. I know there's Rindo
Yep.
is one of them.
All right, Joe.
Well, if you want to count the snakes, Hancock's his name's Salome.
Correct.
I was trying to remember.
Zex Marquis.
just become the Gundam Wing character. I have to talk.
It's either that or I'm going to call
Really?
you Trace
I
Cushionato.
just have to get. Oh, what the hell's? What's the? I'm not just stalling for time. What's the voice actor's name again? Steve is yelling it into his. I'm just gonna say Lily.
Nope.
No, damn it.
They didn't name anyone on Amazon Lily. Lily.
They did not.
Yeah.
You've almost
Oh,
got
that's why
everybody,
that
though.
was in my head. That's why that was in my head.
You've almost got everybody. There's two that you're skipping that I'm surprised. But Jill, your turn.
Hear me out. Elder Nyan was a pirate before. Does it have to be current?
Wasn't that
yes.
Gloriosa?
Yeah, that's
Wasn't
Yeah,
Gloriosa?
that's
Yeah.
right.
Elder Nyan counts Gloriosa. Then
Yeah.
I'd be like, excuse me.
Who's up? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out.
All right, Maddie.
Wait, I was already
Yeah,
out.
she was already.
Yeah,
on.
Maddie.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. I didn't know if we were doing for totals. Okay. Let's see. If she's already out, then we've got Stephanie.
Oh man.
Too good at this.
Let's see. You already did that one. Yeah.
The one with the face. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Which one doesn't have a face? God, I
I
just
can,
wish I had a
I can
picture.
envision the looks, but I can't remember the names.
My V-Ray cards are sitting right
Okay.
there.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, same here. I can picture what they look like, but I don't remember their names.
All right. So as we stand right now, we've got Jill and Joe and Stephanie each have gotten two members. So
So I
I'm
think
going
it's
to
a
read
tie,
them all
yeah.
out just so you know who they are in the current. We've got Boa Hancock, Sandra Sonia, Marigold, Ran, Rindo, Daisy, Cosmos, Blue Fan, Sweet Pea, Marguerite, Aphalandra, Salome, Bakura, and Yuda.
It was
Oh,
not going to
those-
get
Oh, yeah,
any of those.
Bakura.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, I
Wait,
remember
Bakura counts? It was
Mhm.
Bakura a girl
The
panther?
Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Panther.
Probably, right?
yeah. I think
I
they
knew-
specifically give her female pronouns. So
They did, yes.
Okay. I was just curious. Like, what if Bakura was the one man in Amazon Lily? Like, that would be. What's your next game?
So should we take our top three tier and move on, or should we give everybody a chance?
I just
Everybody.
give them points, and we'll see if we could catch up.
All right. So my next question is: there are two female vice admirals. Name one of them, and I guess we'll go back up to the top for Jill and start there.
Hina? Is she Vice Admiral?
Hmm.
Oh well, that's that then.
Maddie.
Suru?
Yep.
Yay.
Kendra.
Oh, there's
There's one more.
I have
Mhm.
no idea.
I'm so glad I'm last.
I'm gonna say tulip.
Nope.
Oh, flower names. No.
No, we're not in the flower
Okay,
thing
but
I
anymore.
know,
We're-
but
we've moved
it
on
would be
from that.
birds. I don't know.
Stephanie.
The other one is Momo Usagi.
I knew
Oh,
her, but I couldn't
yeah.
think of her name.
Yes.
Ah,
All right, moving
Stephanie.
All right, let's see here. And can you name Suru's devil fruit, Joe?
is it the wash fruit?
That is correct.
It just makes me think
Congratulations.
of a character from My Hero whose name is literally Wash.
Yeah, I saw that guy the other day, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Wait, the guy's name is Wash?
And he's He's a washing machine. That's it.
Yeah, my brother and I we watch My Hero every week, and so we talk about it a lot. He's so critical. He's like, "How could these people become heroes?"
No.
Bullshit.
It's like I feel like he's just looking around his room and being like, "What can I make a hero out of here? A washing
He's one of
machine."
the top 10, right? Like Wash is one of the top 10 heroes, I think. And I was
Wait,
like,
is he a dishwasher or a washing machine?
Washing.
Though I mean,
Washing
okay,
machine.
well, I actually would respect a dishwasher man a lot more. I'm just saying
What?
because they have to wash and dry. They do a lot.
All right. Zex Marquis, question for you.
Oh, no.
Sandersonia, Hancock, and Marigold are known as the...
Something sisters, I'm gonna say. Let me think. They weren't just the Kuja sisters.
Oh my-
Like I thought. What? I'm being an idiot here.
Come on,
Stephanie's about to.
Yeah.
This is why I host.
this is the best turnaround.
But I have to say, I have empathy for Zach because it's really hard to organize this and think of questions.
No, I have empathy for all of you, but I already had empathy. I don't need the empathy. I need to think of the answer
All
to
right.
this question.
Run out of
I
time,
can't.
Zach.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Then it goes back up to Jill. Jill,
Gorgon sisters.
Sandersonia, Hancock, and Marigold are known
Oh
as the...
yeah,
Gorgon sisters.
Yeah.
I was not going to pull that out of my ass.
All right.
Can anyone else here? Who else here did not know that?
I was thinking like the Boa Hancock sisters.
Okay, good.
That'd be great.
Okay, so since we're talking about the Gorgon sisters, Maddie, can you name one of their devil fruits? It can be the English or Japanese name.
No.
She's like, no, you refuse, or no, you can't. All right, Kendra?
Have you tried playing trivia with Maddie? It's impossible. She refuses.
Is it like the snake fruit mode python?
You got part of it right.
Is it this? Or it's the love fruit, whatever Boa has.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Stephanie,
One of the other ones.
please.
Yeah. Gosh. What? So it wasn't the Python was not one of them. So like I don't even know if this is a different snake, but like snake fruit model, like boa constrictor or something.
That's not what they have listed, but I don't know if it's like a synonym for the same kind of snake.
I
I'm
think it's
torn here. So I'm going to go by what's in the wiki. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
All right. Joe?
I know marigolds is the snake fruit model cobra or king cobra.
Yep.
Mm.
And Zach?
So I have to get Sandra Sonia's fruit, right? That's what we're trying to get here. And I have to know which of the two were Sandra Sonia.
It's not that many sisters.
So wait, we got snake fruit model king cobra. We got the love fruit.
Yep.
Snake fruit model anaconda.
Yes.
Oh,
My anaconda.
yeah.
I
Gorgon
know, I was gonna
sisters.
say that as a snake immortalized by a song about butts.
Doesn't
It's
that
better
just
than that
describe?
weird 90s movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's why. That's the main thing I was pulling from there, which I've never seen, but it's like
I
haven't seen it either.
I've only seen bits of it, and my brother like traumatized me because he like kept flipping between it and like cops, and we were really little, and it scared us for some reason.
I remember
for me that was
ads
my. For me, that was my sister in Poltergeist, which she was obsessed with as a kid.
Okay, I've got like 3 more questions, and then I think we're good. So we're going back up to Jill. And the question is, the island of Amazon Lily is found in what part of the New World?
Calm belt.
Yes. Well done.
Give Jill the question that. I'm done with that sentence.
Yeah, where was that going?
All right. And my last question, it's 2 parts. Name one of the female members of Cypher Pole, Maddie.
Khalifa.
Good. And Kendra, can you name the other?
Another one?
Mhm.
I have no idea. It's a pigeon a girl?
No, I wish. No,
That's
it's
a
not.
really no. Well, it's named after his assistant or editor. So he was a
Oh,
man.
but I
All right.
pass.
Okay. Stephanie, I know you know the answer.
Stussy.
Juicy, yeah.
Oh,
Ah,
you
I wasn't
Stussy.
thinking of all of Cipher, Paul. I don't know why I wasn't.
Yeah, that's the
but
tricky
I wasn't.
part. She didn't say the
Yeah.
number.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I had to make sure I didn't mess that up. Okay. Let's see. Do I have anything else on here? Just to finish it up, so we get back down to chance to get back down to Zach. Nami is also known as what, Joe?
You mean like her epithet?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Black Cat Nami.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh, no, I just thought what it was.
And we're going back down to Zach.
Cat burglar.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
All right,
Sorry
I
to
think
steal
this
that
is
from
bad.
you. Yeah.
I think I've tortured you all enough.
It was fun.
So Jill and Joe and Stephanie are tied.
Fight to the death.
Yes.
Well, if you don't have a question, we could play the old-fashioned game.
I
We can have
do
them each
have
pick a
one
number.
last question,
Ooh.
but
Good, perfect.
it's as torturous as. So my tiebreaker question is to name attacks from the Sorcery Climate Act.
Ooh.
So we have Jill and Joe and Stephanie left, and we will go in order. Jill,
So just like a move she uses?
one of her attacks.
Mirage Tempo.
Yep. Joe,
Thunder Tempo.
correct. Stephanie,
Tornado tempo.
actually, yes. Jill.
You're getting the hang of this.
Yeah.
Just say tempo, and you're pretty
Yeah.
much good.
Rain Tempo.
I did
Yes.
not see rain tempo.
Ah, balls.
Joe,
Gust Sword Tempo.
yes. Stephanie,
You guys are good.
Man. I don't know.
all
you
right.
stumped
Joe, you want to
Stephanie.
try to name one more, or I just crown you supreme
for fun.
champion?
I guess as a joke, wasn't one called like Sparkler Tempo when she first was trying to use it?
There was that one, but that I think was in the second climate, the first climate attack, not the second one. But the
Okay.
other ones are the word egg, like weather egg and
Okay.
egg, and
Oh,
my
yeah.
personal favorite, Milky Ball.
That's right.
Now I want a
So-
Milky Way.
That's right. So Joe, you are our supreme winner.
Yeah.
Why don't they make
Yes.
Milky Ways into balls? Like a
Well,
milk
like a
dud
Wonder
or
Ball.
something.
Like the way they do
Yeah.
Maltesers and whatnot. That'd
Right,
be delicious.
right. Yeah. Come on, Japan, I assume.
All right, so that was my quiz. Zach, I have a new appreciation for you.
Thank you,
Oh no,
Kelly.
half the time I
Thank
just
you.
make people pick numbers, so it's fine. You did great.
Yeah, I like the Beaver Cart ones. Those are fun.
Wait, so are you doing your shipping wars, or is that like a?
I mean, I think we always like to talk about shipping, so
Mhm.
if there's something to talk about, I'm
I
definitely
thought
down.
we could. I think someone brought it up. Like a Valentine's one would be cute.
Ooh.
Like I don't know, talk about like dates or something like that.
Do we have to like make a Valentine because I can't?
Yeah, we all have to come up with really terrible Valentines.
Yes.
On the topic of Valentine's, did anyone take a look at the Sanji's Valentine's buffet at the tower?
No.
No, was that a
Oh.
thing?
Yeah, he does a little like ladies dessert brunch thing, and
I'm assuming
God.
Maddie saw it.
it was so cute. I always mean to be there around that time so I can do that and Sanji's birthday, and the planning never works, but one of these days. It's just basically like tons of cake. And I'm all about it.
Is Sanji's birthday like super crazy? Like
Yes.
as far as like people
Mhm.
and stuff?
Oh yeah.
He's
It was-
definitely the most. His fangirls are very intense.
They are.
But he also, because he has his restaurants, he gets like the most events.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It was a lot of fun to go on Law's birthday.
Yeah. I wish they just did like booze for Zoro's birthday. Like everybody.
Would that be like Zoro's bar crawl?
Oh my god, drinking around the tower. You just go to each
I would
of the
totally
little,
go
the
for
little
that.
stations and get a drink. Oh my god.
Guys.
Well, Joe, did you purposely time your trip for Law's birthday? I'm like assuming the answer is yes.
I absolutely did. Yeah.
Fantastic.
What time of year was it? It was over the summer,
beginning of-
right?
No, it's in October.
Oh god, I'm losing track of time. Okay, that's good. October's a good time of year
But
at
you
least to
don't know
go.
Law's birthday by heart, Zach.
Oh god. You found me out.
It was really cute. Like I was trying to get. They had a special photo shoot just for Law, and I tried to get tickets for it, but they sold out instantly. Like immediately, the server just died, and the tickets were sold out. But they still brought them out so people could at least like see them, and we all wished them a happy birthday. It was very cute.
I also ask. I'm imagining just generally you and Maddie. Did you go to Sanji's birthday? I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But his was like at his restaurant, and it was like a dinner and a photo shoot, and there were like multiple events. Like it was not just his birthday. I think it was also the day before and the day after,
Mm-hmm.
and then there were
Well, he's
like
a straw
multiple
hat.
times. Huh?
Yeah.
He's a straw hat, so I assume it's like a bigger
They
deal
don't do
there.
that. For
Oh,
the rest
they-
of the
no,
Straw
it's
Hats
only
like
Sanji
that.
gets
It's just Sanji.
Because he has his
Whoa.
own restaurant, so
Yeah.
he gets to do
He
whatever
does.
he wants.
Yeah, and it carries
I
over
would-
into the
yeah.
summer for Universal Studios. It's basically just Sanji doing what he wants all year, and I'm there for
It's
it.
great, yeah.
They had
I
good
also-
food there. I like Sanji's
I
restaurant.
like that you're talking about this like it's actually Sanji who's decided this event.
I mean, it is. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the real
Yeah,
Sanji.
That's where
I
he
met him.
lives.
I met him
Stephanie.
like 5 different times. And, like,
I have a
Yeah,
picture
but
with him,
it's-
Stephanie.
Yeah, and if you took the Shinkansen from the tower, it's the exact same Sanji that you see in Universal. He just gets there ahead of you.
yeah.
I always feel a little bad because Law shares a birthday with Tashigi and Bartolomeo, and I'm just like those poor. I mean, they did have a Tashigi photo shoot. To be fair,
Ooh.
And that's pretty impressive, actually.
yeah, they had a Smoker and Tashigi photo shoot for Tashigi's birthday,
That's pretty cool.
but it still makes me sad that their birthdays are completely overshadowed by Law's.
For Jinbei's birthday, by Jinbei's birthday, he should rejoin the crew, and they should put some poor guy in a blue fat suit. And I will go to Japan and just be like, hi!
They could just get a sumo wrestler and just paint him with blue body paint.
Yes, I just hope he doesn't pull a golden eye, and if he dies.
Wait, so I have a question for I have a few questions. So I was gonna say for Steve's birthday, I meant Sanji's birthday. He has it at his own restaurant? I mean, like,
Yeah, so when I went, so it's like everybody, like, you got reservations, which were really hard to get. And then everybody lined up, and he, like, greeted everybody in his cute little chef outfit. And then it's like it was like a buffet, and you'd be eating, and then he'd also, like, it was like you're on a recorded track, because obviously they want the actual voice actor. And he just, like, says all this stuff, and he, like, walks around, and you can stare at his face.
Kind of
And-
like USJ.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
oh
And
yeah,
then
I think he hit on Greg at USJ. I'm trying to remember. Something happened.
Well, so the USJ one's really funny because he's on, like, most of the, like, the Straw Hats are on recorded track. When I went, Johnny and Yosaku were there, and they were on hot mics, so they could, like, react to the recorded track, because, like, basically it's like a lot of it is Sanji just saying, like, oh, like, you know, you're so beautiful, blah blah blah, as he's, like, walking around, and then, like, so he'll, like, just say it to, like, whoever he happens to be next to, because it's just timed with, you know, he's just on this recording, but then he'll, like, say it to a woman, and, like, Johnny would be like, bro, that's someone's wife. And it was really funny.
That's funny.
I still think my favorite was when I went with my friend Jesse, and Sanji was just so mean to him. And it would be great because he'd, like, put the little heart down on my plate, and I was, like, you know, perspiring and, like, being and fangirling out, and then he'd take the little heart that was supposed to go on Jesse's plate, and he'd make eye contact with him and crumble it on top of his food. Like, whoever was like it was, oh my God, every single thing he brought to the table, he was mean to Jesse, and I was dying laughing.
Hilarious. Yeah, I didn't. The Tower Sanjis are nice to guys. I didn't go to USJ with guys, so I didn't get to experience that. But it sounds hilarious.
I think I remember. I think he got like something from Nami, and then Sanji got really pissed about it. With Greg, it's something. It's. I think it's on the video for OPP Japan. I don't quite remember. It was like 7 years ago. But so yeah, Valentine's.
Like, do we name like a ship Valentine's, or just who we want to go on a Valentine's date with?
I was thinking who we would go on a Valentine's date with, because we did that on the My Hero podcast and it got very silly.
Yeah, what's your ideal One Piece Valentine's date with you?
It's actually easier for One Piece because there's a lot more like adult characters.
I'll be honest, it would probably be Sanji for me, if only because of the food. Like, I love Sanji. Okay, I'm drunk, but
why would he cook his own Valentine's meal?
You think
Because he's
That's the thing I-
for you.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the very least, he'd take you out to like a restaurant he knows is good. Like he wouldn't.
And takes it over and starts cooking for you, like in Dressrosa.
Yeah,
There's
he's
no-
cooking. Let's face
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
Well, and one
Good
thing
point.
too, like one of my friends who's like a big Zoro fan, but she's like been living in Japan for a while, and she like switched over to Sanji just because the actors are like so nice to you, because like Zoro doesn't care.
Right.
It's like you're like Zoro, and he's like, what? But if you like give like you see Sanji and he's like all excited and he like gives you little hearts and he blows you kisses and you're just like, wow, this is great.
I'm curious about Stephanie's answer here.
Oh, great. You got this.
Well, we're gonna get yours too, Zach.
Sorry.
So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
throw this
my
in.
mic will be
I would
cut off.
I would also love to go on a Valentine's date with Barto, because it would just be us watching One Piece. Like, there would be no at all. But it would just, be two fan kids, and it'd be fantastic.
That's a really good answer.
I would go with Nico Robin, and it's because she could like if we were going somewhere with a really nice view, then she could also like lift me up with a giant hand to get an even better view.
Giant
She'd be
woman.
great for concerts.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. That's good.
There are just too many characters. I should just look through my Vivre code
I'm
book.
looking through the guy characters of One Piece right now. I have the wiki open, and I'm like,
I'm just looking at my figures.
Well, as a guy, Steven and I can't go out with Nami because she's not doing that.
She'd probably take you out and then take your money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nami's a really bad. For anyone who'd answer Nami, I mean, I
I
wouldn't
be able. Would try.
I think I would ship that. That's fine. She
There
just
are
is not
people who would
interested in
enjoy
men.
that too.
I'd go on a date with Usopp, and we could just like pull pranks on people or something. Or also, Dalton is just a good dude. I would go on a date with Dalton, and he can just like be cool.
Bore you with trivia about people.
Oh, yeah.
Now he sounds more attractive.
He just keeps telling about himself. Oh, I forgot.
That guy really likes chestnuts. Did you know that?
I'm like, cool. I'm just going through the Vivre card book. It goes characters in chronological order, and I'm getting to Boodle here. I'm like, well, he has a dog.
Tinder now, you gotta like swipe right or swipe left.
Oh my god, yeah. Why does no one invent Tinder but for One Piece characters? Like,
It's funny. I think it was either.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was gonna say that. It's either Viz or Crunchyroll or Funimation, but one of them made a joke about that with Katakuri.
I would absolutely go on have a Marienda date with Katakuri.
Hell yes.
Okay, I would go for like a lunch thing with him, but that is horrifying. He's like 50 feet tall and he wears
down.
spiky shoes. Okay, well,
No, I'm down.
to each their
Zach,
own.
I'm 5'9" and I can barely find anyone taller than me to date. I'm okay with Katakuri.
Oh shit. Am I shorter than you? I think I am shorter than you. I forget.
I think. Are you how tall? Like how tall are you compared
I'm
to
your
me?
height,
Are you
I
shorter
think.
than I am? You're my height. Yeah. So Jill's taller.
Yeah. Well, like it's the thing, like a girl who's 5'8" or 5'9" compared to a guy that's 5'8", 5'9" is like 10 feet taller. That's how that works.
I feel
Sorry,
like I
I'm
might
still
pick
looking through.
Shanks or something.
Mm,
You'd have a good time with Shanks, I think.
definitely.
Yeah, it's like he'd be good company.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I mean,
Cold would
it's
also be
different.
good.
It's different. Are you like going on a? I guess this is a romantic meal because it's for Valentine's Day. Because like just going to hang out, a lot of these people, not most of these people, but a lot of these people. But,
I mean, a romantic meal with Shanks is definitely at a bar, right? Like a public bar.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
a pub,
true.
a
He's just
dive
hitting on
bar.
Makino the entire time.
Yeah. You're just sitting next to him.
Hmm.
I would go.
Naji-
for dinner,
Najiko's
we would just
cool. I'm
hang
just
out.
going
It wouldn't
through
be a
this.
date. It would just be like, oh my god, hello.
You're like, hey, aren't you supposed to be with the straw hats right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, what are you doing
Oh,
in
I
this
hate you
restaurant?
for a
Get the
date.
hell out of here.
exactly.
Tashigi's awesome.
She would be
is.
very sweet.
And I'm a nerd and she's a nerd. That's great.
She'd
She can tell you
bore
all about
with sword
swords.
talk and like.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, Mont Black Nolan would be a good date. He's a
I
nice
agree.
Or Olvia before she died because she could tell me the name of the ancient kingdom.
dude. Yeah.
Or Toki for that matter, because she
Or
was in it.
Toki. She lived in the damn ancient kingdom.
Exactly.
And if the date's not going well, she could just fast forward. you
Oh,
know?
can you imagine? She's like, I'll be
Like,
right back. I'm going to go to the
bye.
ladies' room.
I
And then
really
she just
need
goes
this
into the
date to be
future.
over.
Or she
I
sends
mean,
me
no-
into the future and it's like, oh, it's already 11. I'm sorry.
I didn't realize Zach had been on like the canonical worst date in the history of mankind. She traveled to the future to get away from you.
That's right, buddy. I feel like Carrot or any of the other mates should be good because you can like snuggle up to them and they'd be very warm.
They'd be very affectionate as well.
Yeah.
Can I turn this question on its head? Who would the worst date? Who would you most not want to go on a date with in the One Piece
Oh,
world?
God.
Blackbeard.
Zoro.
Yeah.
I would
Choice
go to
here.
get Blackbeard only so I could push him into the sea. Like, I would find a way.
Absalom.
Absalom.
Ugh.
Ooh,
Caribou?
yeah, huge.
Caribou,
dude,
yeah.
Caribou, not good.
Odin.
Caribou. There are so many
married.
good choices. Yeah, Odin's married. I mean, yeah. Orochi.
Ugh.
Yeah, probably not
Oh,
great.
yeah. Orochi right now probably is the worst one, right?
The one I opened up to on the female side, Ms. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
She would just be so fast and in your face, a little too much.
Mhm.
Just a little. Take it down a notch.
And I guess Pudding, if she like keeps flipping between whether or not she likes you or not.
I don't know. That could be kind of hot. It depends.
See, now that would be my
Just-
worst because I still hate her. I'll always hate her. I have a pin
Oh,
that
yeah.
says, I have a
didn't like
button
originally.
on my Ita bag that says I hate pudding.
Is it just because of her liking Sanji, or is it?
I just
Yeah.
think that just because you had a bad life doesn't mean you have to be abusive to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So
How about
Interesting.
how about Tashigi with a smoker's personality inside of her? She's smoking a
Oh
cigar.
my God, that's really hot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm definitely
Dude, she was
down for that.
Going around with the shirt open, I was like, yes.
Hell yes.
I like regular Tashigi more, not because
Yeah.
I would
more
go on a
because
date with
Smoker just is. Yeah, I don't know.
I would go on a date with Tashigi in Smoker's body, cause it'd be cute.
Oh, you know who
Oh.
would be cute? Koala. Koala would be really cute.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Well, Koala's awesome too. Koala's like, yeah, Koala's cool. If Sam were here, what were Sam's? Sam's are Carrot, Koala,
Carrot, koala,
Kami.
Amy.
Kami. I didn't know
Yeah,
Kami
those
was
are
one of
sweet.
his. What was one of
Oh,
his
yeah.
bows?
Yep.
Harem or whatever you want to call Sam's. group.
His
Sam's
wipers.
Sam's harem.
Sam's already including
choice.
Caesar.
I'm calling Sam out on this podcast. Ooh, okay, so bad
Short
dates.
hair.
What about? So I'm just going through my Vivre card book, which is an awesome way to find dates. And seriously, I think David Bednar does like user interface stuff, right? Can he just make this app or Jeff Ruberg? Just make this One Piece Tinder app
One
using
Piece
Vivre
Tinder.
cards.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So the zombie that Zoro becomes with the
Oh,
weird
God.
snake head thing and that weird skirt.
I mean, let's start with the fact that it's necrophilia. Probably not good.
Yeah, and he has a Hitler mustache, which is even worse somehow.
Or dating Hogback, and then like he'll find well, at least like if you die, you'll live on forever.
Even better question:
that's
who from Thriller Bark would you date?
Corona.
That's the only right answer.
I think
The
that is
dish
it.
throwing girl. What's her name?
The old man who isn't a zombie.
Oh, Sindri.
Oh, I love that guy. That guy's my bro. Yeah.
I feel like Sindri would snap on you, though. Perona,
Yeah.
I feel like at least you'd have fun with.
Also, you couldn't
Yeah.
have dishes with Sindri, so what they putting off the tablecloth, right?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to
That's
have
not
like
right.
what
Paper
styrofoam
and
plates,
plastic,
right?
yeah.
slurping your food off the table.
There is Lola, but she goes really fast and would just jump right to marriage.
Oh, what is the name of the bear?
Kumasi.
Kumasi?
Kumashi. I'm going on a date with Kumashi.
That's weird.
With zombie plush.
Kumashi is like basically the opposite of Absalom there, where it's like someone who it just looks like you're taking advantage of him the entire time. It's like
I could like hide inside of it. I don't know why.
I mean, you
just a
could sneak
big
into
emu.
movies. You'd never have to pay for the
Yeah,
movies again if you dated
exactly.
Kumasi.
2 people in a bear suit. Thriller
I guess
Bark
you would
is not
be-
very dateable.
no, that's why it's a really good question.
What about this data skeleton? What is the name of the person that Brooke's soul was put into?
Ryuma?
Yuma's skeleton.
I mean,
Deal with
he's like a mummy, right? Like a weird
Yeah, he's a
drunken
zombie.
zombie.
I'm not gonna bang him. I just want to hang out with him.
I mean,
Yeah, if we're talking about like asexual relationships,
Yeah.
it's a much wider pool.
I mean, that's what I was going off of.
Yeah.
Oh, see, no, I wasn't.
yeah,
I don't think Jill was either.
Yeah, I know Kelly, and I know Jill.
I don't discriminate that much, even with that caveat. So
And the phone would be great because I'm already depressed, and so she can just do an Usopp on me and just cheer me
right?
up.
What can she do? God,
You
nothing.
can say I'm already negative. What you gonna do, bitch?
She's gonna be like, it's gonna be okay. I'm rooting for you.
I want to go on a super cute, like gothic Lolita, like date with Perona. That one cover story where she was making like sangria with Mihawk's wine. I was like, it's adorable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you ship Perona and Mihawk?
No.
Nope.
I
He's
have.
your dad.
Wow.
Nah.
Yeah.
God.
Nah,
Father and
God, I
daughter.
didn't realize I stepped over the line here.
Yeah.
No, I think it's cool. I'm fine with it.
Kelly, you're fine with everything.
Yes, listen, don't yuck on my yum. I'm equal
I'm not.
opportunity.
And unless it's pudding.
Yeah.
She can go drown. She's out of this. And because she has a devil fruit, she
Exactly.
could.
She would drown.
That's not very Sanji of you.
No, but I do want to give like a half serious answer to the pudding thing. Like, I think the thing about that arc is also like her kind of working through how do you like properly express trauma in a way that doesn't hurt other people. And like I think that was kind of like the whole thing that Sanji showed her kindness was kind of like, oh wait, maybe I am doing this in an unhealthy way. I don't really know if that's what she learned at the end of the day, but we don't really know.
Yeah,
I would
think-
date a bunch of Big Mom's kids.
Oh, here. Okay. So which of Big Mom's kids would you date then?
Well, like, here, let me pull up a list. No, well, I mean,
I
there's
would date
kind
Lola.
of Praline is super cute. And she's like a giant shark woman that is tops. Pudding, also cute.
Well, Praline was that was your crush for that whole
I mean,
arc, if
yeah,
I recall.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't beat her. Like, my
She's
God.
really cute.
She's great. Yeah.
All the guys are ugly besides like
I
category.
would, you know what? I feel like Charlotte Moscato, Mr. Gelato, would be
Yes.
a very sweet man who would have a nice ice cream date.
He looks like a Disney character kind of.
Mm.
So he's got,
I would date the pumpkin guy, Charlotte Cato. Why is he a pumpkin?
what about Pound, guys? Everyone loves
He's not a
Pound.
kid.
He's already.
Oh, well, he's a relative, I guess. He's an in-law. He's horrifying looking. I'm sorry, I'm looking at his Vivari card right
I'd
now.
probably-
He's horrifying
I'd go on a
looking.
date
I
with
would
Cracker.
definitely with Amand.
Yeah.
Amand is
Way?
amazing.
Anyone?
Oh, smoothie? My God.
All the girls are good. Maybe one of the like quadruplets or whatever they are. Or
Oh.
Awful looking.
What about Sparrow?
Oh.
No.
He's right up there with Montdor. That's not happening.
Yeah, that's.
But it's got that
Well, at least
big old
Montour
tongue.
could take you to the world of books.
I can go to the
Very-
library, thank
Montour,
you.
I'm on a date with Montour.
Listen, I can go to the
I would-
library
yeah.
anytime I want to.
That's right. I don't need your powers, Montdor.
Don't
I
need
would
to
go on
to
a Joe version of a date with Montour, but not on a Kelly version of a date with Montour.
I feel like I'm getting a reputation all of a sudden here.
It's all right.
I mean, I accept it.
I
I
think we
wouldn't
all
even go on a
know. By the way,
platonic
I
date.
ship the person I ship Stephen with from Whole Cake Island is definitely King Baum, because I mean,
He is now. He's got a fiance.
Got Lady Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, that's true. What was her name? Was it Lady Tree? Was that her
yeah.
name?
It was Lady Tree.
That's amazing.
Who's the Charlotte's Yuen, the guy with the very simple face. He's creepy looking, but he's
weird.
cute.
And then
The
was it
guy with the
Poir,
simple
the one with the
face.
pant, like that has. Like,
Oh
the
yeah, I
stitch
liked
mouth?
her.
Yeah, she's cute.
She is adorable.
My God, Smoothie.
Listen,
Sorry, her fever card.
she could squeeze me, and I really wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
Any of you guys date Flampe?
Hell
No.
no.
No,
You gotta draw the line
the
somewhere.
that's
worst.
like
Yeah.
that's like every girl from my high school. I feel like was Flampe. This is why I hated my high school.
I would date Aladdin. He married into the family, but I take
I-
him, and so Jill could take
He's
Praline.
cool.
Oh man, I would go on like a triple date with them. Like that would be
Yeah.
Oh, there's the
There's
the
the
OT3.
OT3.
Yeah.
It's like,
See, I
it's
think
like
this
when
is-
they're like, "Oh, it's Valentine's Day. We want to spice up our bedroom for one night. Let's just pull in this rando." I'd be like, "Yes, I volunteer. Hello, I can't breathe underwater, but we'll make this work."
Yeah, I was gonna say, would it be underwater or above
I don't know.
land? They're
It'd
just
either be
flopping
bubbles
around
or
on the
be in a
ground.
bubble. It
Just
wouldn't
gotta
work
learn
great.
scuba. Just gotta learn scuba.
Oh, there's like
Okay,
Scarlet Angel who looks, or that. Oh,
Colette
it's
is
not.
really
I'll
cute.
date her too. I don't care.
which homie of Big Mom's homies would you most want to date? Prometheus, Zeus, or Napoleon?
What the hell?
Zeus is the high cloud. For those who don't
Prometheus is
need
the sun.
differentiation.
We have
Napoleon, because I get a
common.
sword.
That's true. You did get a sword out of that.
I have Napoleon in my room, and he does not approve of this line of questioning.
I mean, Zeus, I feel like it depends if you want to get high. And if you want to get high, the answer is Zeus. If you
I
don't,
feel like
You're
Zeus
not
is
wrong.
utilitarian. He could like take you places.
that's
Yeah.
true.
I mean,
Save
he's
on
an Nimbus Cloud.
airfare. I fly a
Prometheus
lot,
is just
so
hot,
I need
but,
time
like-
to cut corners.
Well, how
Nothing
fast is he, though? I'm sure he's pretty damn slow.
I mean,
so am I. Like, this doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I'd get
Oh,
high with Zeus.
guys, I'm so sorry. I forgot the answer of who I would definitely date, and it's without a doubt. It's Big News Morgan's, obviously. Like,
Yes.
yes.
All the hot
obviously.
hot-
Although I really hope that the fact that he's an albatross man is non-canon, because that's
I
the
hate
worst.
that.
I know.
That is- Like, I've
He's a
never heard
lovebird.
one fact that ruins a character so thoroughly.
It's one of those things where it's like I saw him and it never even crossed my mind that he was
No.
a human with a devil fruit. Instantly,
He's a
I was like,
bird
"Yep,
man."
it's a giant bird man." I just accept it with no questioning, and I'm pissed if it's the other way around. I hope it's not.
I hope it's not true, because some things from the Vivere cards have been corrected or wrong. So I think we went through some of those with Steven, so I'm hoping that's one of them.
Say that. But the people cards didn't say Shanks was a emperor when he met Luffy,
Yeah.
and that was changed. So
Yeah.
there's still hope.
Yeah. There's still hope for just the Birdman, who's just a pure bird and has nothing else about him that's
No
interesting.
explanation ever given.
No explanation.
Big bird man.
Who could kick some ass if he needs to.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of him punching that photographer.
It was great. He's amazing.
Yes.
What kind of date would it be with him though? Like you'd be like
Firewood.
stalking someone else, right?
Oh,
It'd be
wait.
like a paparazzi date.
When he eats, does he like peck his food like a chicken?
oh my god, yes.
Just like.
Well, I mean, albatrosses are like seabirds, so I think they would
Yeah.
like swoop down and just snatch their food and then swallow it whole. And
And guys,
hot.
if he is an albatross, albatrosses are serial monogamous. They stay with the same partner for their whole lives. So there you go.
I agree though. He would definitely. You would be at the date and he would be like looking around like, oh my god, did you see who's at that other table? Like getting the scoops.
Yeah.
It would be like, you know
Creepy
how on
photos with his
TMZ
phone.
they always have those like conversations in the newsroom. It would be a date like that. You'd just be sitting there like talking about all
Mm.
I guess you got to really be into gossip to be on a date with him,
Yeah,
which I'm not.
exactly.
Well, yeah, maybe. Depends the gossip.
He'd be like on those dates where they're like, you're sitting at the restaurant and he's like, oh my god, like on Twitter, like, oh my god, the couple next to me is arguing. Go for it, girl, or like, shut up, dude, or something.
But see, you can never trust him because if gossips will gossip about you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta
right
have nothing interesting going
So
on.
serial monogamous, whatever, you're stuck with a gossip.
Yeah. Or like he's gonna write an expose about you.
Exactly.
My date
Don't
with
be
Zach.
rude, everyone.
Our guest writer, Zach, what's it like to date a giant bird?
Well,
Let me tell you about
feathers
the
get
cloaca.
everywhere.
Sorry.
Look, if you're talking about shipping with One Piece characters, you got to embrace the absurdity of dating a giant news bird. I mean,
Does he wear pants? I think he does wear pants.
yeah,
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I think he does. I mean,
I'm googling Big Moose Morgan. He does.
no,
Yes, he does.
I
He
have
has
his
weird,
card
like,
here.
patched pants.
Oh, guys, what about Genie Weenie?
I mean,
Two guys for
Daifuku.
the price of one.
yeah, but they both suck. Like,
They do.
Daifuku's just awful.
Definitely.
Oven can turn any bathtub into a hot tub.
Ooh.
No, but he's
maybe
awful.
too hot.
Yeah.
Might-
He's
might
also
be-
awful.
you might be in Odin's position quicker than you would like.
Ooh,
I know,
Listen,
I
I
just
would
wanna
date
make
the
a
sweet
joke.
commanders, but probably none of the rest of the older members of her crew.
Oh, I completely forgot about Gerd, the giant woman from Big
Oh.
Mom's flashback.
Oh,
As like, that's a good. Although I guess,
She's huge.
how tall is she?
It would be hard.
She's 1,700
Ah.
centimeters.
that's okay.
How many
I
feet
had
is
snoo
that?
snoo.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
1,700 centimeters is how long? How long? How tall?
Well, that's only when she was a kid, though, isn't it? Or is that when she's...
I
It's
don't know how
18
big that is.
yards. Why is it translating it to yards?
'Cause I don't
55 feet.
understand.
It doesn't say her. Yeah, it doesn't say how tall she was as a kid. I think she was just like an adult size. You know, like a size of a
No,
normal adult.
She was the same size as Big Mom when she was a kid. Because they
Yeah,
were
but
like
we don't know
level.
how. Yeah, we don't know how big Mom was as a kid.
She was bigger than an adult, though. My
Yeah,
God,
she
yeah.
was able to eat everyone at the party.
Oh, I got to look at those chapters. That flashback was great, and I like kind of forgot about it.
I recently reread Whole Cake Island, so
Yeah, I need to do that. Like, I have not gone back. Sorry to get to like an actual topic about things, but yeah, I haven't read it since we did it. I like got a little fatigue from it. Like, I enjoyed it, but I'm like, I need a break from Whole Cake Island.
It's a
only read
lot better marathoned.
yeah,
I'm
it
sure,
is. Like
yeah.
It
I
goes
read it.
quick.
I read it week to week initially, and then I didn't read it again. And then Grant's going through it, and we have a friend who likes Katakuri, so I was like, all right, I'll reread it.
Yeah, like a lot of people really think that like that Katakuri Luffy fight was like, well, and the anime did do a good job with it, but like pinnacle One Piece, and I'm like, I didn't. It felt like it just kind of dragged for so long, but
Yeah,
if you marathon it, if you marathon it,
I don't know
I'm
if
sure
it's my favorite one, but my God, I go back to it in the anime a lot. It's done so well, and I like their relationship throughout it. But it does have the issue where it's broken up so much.
Yeah.
Because there's so many parts of the fight where Luffy is literally out of the building or out of the mirror world, and then we're back with the Sunny, and it's hard to like. I wish there was just a cut that I had of it of just the fight, and I would love that.
I definitely
Agreed.
like the first part of the fight. I just don't like it when Luffy comes back. That's what annoys me. But
I just hate Flampe. So
yes.
listen, Mom loves all her kids, just not her.
And Mom doesn't love all her kids, so.
I don't care for Flampe.
Any more ships? Or are we shipped out? Oh wait, that's a good pun.
We're
Accidental
gonna
pun.
ship out, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, were there any like honorable mentions that we forgot? Because I realized after the fact that there were some I forgot last time.
I mean, I would honorable mentions for like ships or like dates or what?
Ships.
Oh,
Because like I re-listening to the old episode, I was like, I should have mentioned like Shocky and Rayleigh.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good ship.
Yeah, especially since she's probably secretly like 90.
Right. She's probably like, oh God, what's her name? Kureha's older sister.
Also, when I first watched One Piece, I shipped Vivi and Koza.
Yeah, I did that too for a while. I think it's a cute ship. If Nami wasn't, it's if Nami doesn't end up with Vivi in the canonical series, yeah, it's either Nami with Vivi or Vivi with Koza for me.
Mhm.
Did those even like count as shipping? Like I thought that was pretty much just canonical. You know, it's like Usopp and
Oh,
Kaya.
they're not married yet.
Okay.
The Shaki and Rayleigh one, I think, was confirmed canon in the Viver cards, but I don't think it. I think Koza and Vivi were just friends.
Yeah.
Because she even says, like, because her dad's trying to find her suitors, and she's always like, nah, I'm not interested.
Yeah,
So.
well, because she already has a guy.
Yeah. She just needs to actually say it.
All right, you guys want to ship out for the day?
Let's set sail.
All right.
Okay.